freak.
You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is Luca-Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a dream. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on United States.FM network. Don't forget also, if you want to listen to the show directly on the website, you can go to lovegunsfreedom.com for all the past show too. This is Luca-Zanna, your host. And guess what? A lot of things been happening. Been kind of busy the last 2 weeks. I need to share some information during the second hour and third hour. We have a lot of great news, new projects, exciting things. Try to always move forward. Now, meanwhile, so much is happening. Seriously, this country, I really believe we are under a coup. And let me tell you something. I'm not a Trumpy. I know Trump has a lot of limitations and things that probably I don't agree on everything, but there is something going on. They're really trying to completely destroy this man. And don't get me wrong, when people are frustrated, and sometimes I'm frustrated myself, because I wish Trump would do everything he's supposed to do or he said he was going to do. Guess what? Realize that he's just a guy, even he's the president. Congress, look what happened just a few days ago. The Republican Party shows its true colors. No matter what, the excuse that they've been saying when Obama was in office. Guess what? We cannot do repeal Obamacare because Obama, after all, is going not to, sign it. Guess what? Now we know the truth. The Republican Party is a joke. And Senator McCain is a traitor, in my opinion, not just of the Republican Party. Forget about that. I don't care about the Republican Party anyway. About the American people. Okay, seriously. So I really hope we understand that we've been played by both sides, and it's time to wake up. It's time to realize that there is no really Captain America coming from Washington. I wish there was a real Captain America, bring some justice. So far, these parties has been a joke. They're owned by the same globalists. They're controlling not just this country, but all the other countries around the world. Now we need to wake up, understand, and start to stop this separation between Democrats and Republicans. Let's start to look at facts. Let's start to look at the real enemies behind the screen. That's why I want to bring on the show one of my best, really, people that I met during this experience, almost 4 years on the air. I learned a lot. And one thing I learned, first of all, that we've been all duped. All these parties, they're a joke. And it's time to say, to go screw them, to the hierarchy, especially in Washington. I don't care even in Washington, even down in our own, headquarters. They try to control us. We're supposed never to follow the orders from any party. We're supposed to follow the orders from our consciousness, from our ethics, to what is right, what is wrong. And more important, if you want to be part of this political life in America, the United States of America, we have the supreme law of the land, the Constitution. I know it sounds something like ridiculous when everybody, in Washington or even state level, they're laughing. They took an oath to uphold the Constitution just because for the show, the day of the inauguration, when they take office, and then they completely disregard it. Things will be much easier if one thing at least we stick together. We have a Bill of Rights and Constitution, and government is supposed to be constrained by those two things. Simple as that. Now let me shut up. Let me bring this gentleman that I really admire him because he's been probably one of the few Democrats out there during the last campaign who did not go to bow down to Hillary Rodham Clinton, the corrupted bitch. Yes, I can say that. Okay? And this is beyond politics. Forget that she's a globalist. Forget that she's a joke. She said one thing, then she said another one. Forget about all those things. Forget that, it's almost a joke of dynasties, to have families going back and forth. Well, we have very criminal charges that are supposed to be brought against her, and nobody really is doing anything. Shows that there are two different set of rules, two different set of laws. We, the slave, they will throw the book at us. And then them, the elite, they can do pretty much whatever they want. And that's why I really respect Ronald O'Donnell who's been a Democrat for all his life, for 50 years. I mean, this is an hardcore blue-collar Democrat. And guess what? When he realized that he couldn't play that game, he wouldn't just go along with something that just because, is under the little party card. Unfortunately, the party, let's put it this way, and Ronald's going to tell you more now. Ronald didn't leave the party. The party left him, like many other people like him. And I'm sure this is no more the party of JFK. Let's put it this way. This party is about a globalist agenda to completely destroy the sovereignty of this nation. Ronald O'Donnell, are you there?
Yay, how you doing, Zanna?
I'm okay. Listen, I'm always excited to have you on because bring me a little bit of joy in these tough times when I see still a lot of Democrats, like a lot of Republicans, still having ham on their eyes, and defending their guys just because they have the card, in their pocket. So I really bring me a lot of joy to see people like you and remind me that there is hope. So please, I want to give you the floor. I know that you have a lot of news to update us coming from the Democrat headquarters, and then I will ask you some questions about President Trump. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Okay. Everybody out there knows, we've been on the show now since you started about 3.5 years ago, and we were always on the leading edge of stories. I remember we were talking, I told you guys, I think one show or two ago, about California revoking all of the rights under the Second Amendment for California citizens to own arms and even ammunition, and how they're coming out to disarm California. Because they want to make us a lot like Mexico. You know how safe it is in Mexico not to have any weapons. You know how it's working out for them.
Yeah,
Chicago, too, I might add,
Besides the drug cartels, of course.
Right, and then we had like a story before that about years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, before the mainstream media picked it up, regarding Benghazi.
Yeah.
And the sellout of American weapons, to ISIS, which everyone knows now. But guess what? It came out on your show first. It was the very first show that picked it up. So what I am suggesting is perhaps there are people above us, in power, that are listening to this show. So I like to put things on this show that are leading edge information. We can repeat history, but where are we going as a society? Where are we going as a country? Where are we going as a nation? And that's what I like about Love, Guns, and Freedom. We have the opportunity here to discover for the very first time new information. That's what news used to be. We're not just regurgitating the past on Love, Guns, and Freedom. And while I have the opportunity, I want to just say this to the listeners out there. You need to share this show. You need to share the information. We, here in the desert, I call it the Inland Empire. You're over across the border, and you're the western frontier for Arizona. But we together are the desert. And we need to know the issues that affect both of us, even though we're across the Colorado River from each other. There's information that pertains to us equally. There are reasons why we are a depressed economy. It's intentional. It's not accidental.
Yes.
And, there's a reason why our property values are harmed. It's because they want to sell their property in L.A. They want to sell their property in San Diego. There's reasons for all this. But they, people in power, don't want us to know little secrets, power secrets. And I've got one for you today. But first, to follow up on where we stand here in the Democratic Party. It's pretty funny when you think about it, but the party chair in San Bernardino County right now has a little revolution going on where the chairperson has been voted out by people in the chair. They've called the police on us for the last 2 meetings. That would be June and July, and we've been evacuated from the building, and it's been pretty interesting. And I don't know what's going to happen this month, August, but on the 27th, the next meeting. But then again, so the chair is up in question. Who actually is running the Democratic Party in San Bernardino County is a question, because we voted out the chair, and now we have our own chair, and we have 2 different meetings now because we're tired of getting the cops called on us. All right. Now on a statewide level, the chair was challenged by one of the runners, and that is still ongoing. And, people don't realize it, but the state of California Democratic Party leaders are infighting, and it's almost 50-50, as it is down here in San Bernardino, 50-50.
Wow.
So, how come that it doesn't appear on the news media anywhere? And then think about it. The Democratic National Committee, which is out of Washington, D.C., which is the national party, it also has infighting going on there with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, being indicted or close to being indicted for the, not the Benghazi, but the email issue. That's all her. And Seth Rich, who was shot in the back, worked for her because he's the one that released the emails from the Democratic Party to directly WikiLeaks. Wow. So there was no Russia.
Wow.
We know there was never a Russia. There was Seth Rich, who admitted that he did it. Of course, last July, when we had our show, we were talking about the emails here on Love, Guns, and Freedom. What we didn't know was Seth Rich was murdered. He was shot in Washington, D.C., coming out of a bar, I think 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
They did not steal his watch, gold watch. They did not steal his wallet. They did not steal his money. He had about $1,000 on him. They did not touch him. The only thing they can't find is his laptop.
Wow.
These things are all going on.
Gee.
Now, remember, I'm not a lifetime politician. In fact, I never ran in my life. But since I ran, boy, do I get information.
Yeah.
And that's really why I like to share it with you. Because when you look at these facts, the National Democratic Party is in total disarray, and it's being enforced with a bullet. I'd like to hear a comment from you on that.
No, at least this is very true. I mean, you are not the only one. I mean, remember when the last show you burned you rip your Democratic Party card in sign of protest? I mean, and there is also, for example, I heard now a governor, I forgot which state, that
West Virginia.
Yes, not because I'm a fan of Republicans. I mean, they're a scam too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, look what they
did.
done.
I had it too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that was last week.
Yeah, but as a form of protest, that was, very important. I mean, this Democratic Party is being taken over by the zombies, and really, there is a still...
No, come on. It's being taken over by the radicalized Islamic Muslims.
Yes.
We had this show, I told you, a year ago.
Yes.
That Mr. Hakam was going to go ahead and wind up being the chair of the Democratic Party in Washington, D.C. Well, he didn't win. The vice chair is the position he got. And by the way, there was never any such thing as a vice chair in the DNC until he lost the chair.
Yeah. Wow.
So they created the position so that they could pacify the ignorant Democrats in this country into thinking that, there was a vice chair position. There's never been one. It's an honorary position, and it was created by the current chair, who is a DNC Hillary Clinton operative.
Yeah. No, this is it's huge. What's happening with the Democratic Party right now, as I said, They try to force all this propaganda, this completely nonsense. I mean, there are things now that if you don't follow by the rule, they don't want you anymore in the Democratic Party. They consider like, let's say, an enemy. Seriously, I mean, I was listening. I mean, think about it. The Democratic Party is supposed to be the party of the people. These people, they've been working, their agenda is to create globalism, is to create all these free trade agreements that they're not about free trade, it's about the destruction of the American workers. And if you don't get along with those topics, if you don't get along, for example, with abortion, they want you out. If you don't get along with the fact that you want to have a right like the Second Amendment as an American, oh, guess what? You are the enemy of the party. So they are really having an agenda, and the agenda is completely under the control of these globalists to destroy not just America, but the rest of every sovereign nation around the world. Now, what do you think? Do we going to have some justice with Hillary Clinton? I heard on the internet, and as I say, I don't have enough information yet to validate that finally seems like that Attorney General Jeff Sessions, that I'm not a fan, by the way, for many other things, but seems like is going to reopen the case for Hillary Clinton for all the situation that, she's supposed to be accountable, like Benghazi, the emails, the server. What do you think? Something's going to happen or just going to be a wash?
Well, right now, today's news is that she's been offered a plea bargain to just admit to a misdemeanor, and that if she agrees that she committed a misdemeanor,
wow,
that they'll dismiss all the charges against her. That's Jeff Sessions.
Wow. It's such a fraud. This is such a way out. I mean, this is such a...
Yeah, I'd take that deal. I'd take that deal. Misdemeanor means she could still maintain her national security clearance that she still holds, which should have been ripped away from her the moment all this started. So, that I'm questioning what's going on there. I'm going to follow up with you later on that. But I want to talk to the people in Mohave County.
Go ahead.
Personally right now. And I know you guys are over there in Kingman area and Laughlin and, pretty much along the Colorado border. And you're saying, well, what the hell do I care about all this? What does all this Democrat talk have anything to do with me? Well, let me tell you, it has everything to do with you. And I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
I got a phone call, interesting, last week, from, I'm going to allow the name contact to be anonymous, but he started off with, he's a big politician, just moved out here from Washington, D.C. He's been out here about a year, he says. And I already knew who he was. When Hillary lost, she all of the Democrats that were, in her campaign for the DNC, which she controls to this day, were sent to California to, quote unquote, and I have my hands up, support California congressional district candidates. Now, I'm running for U.S. Congress here. Yeah, I decided to do that, and I already have my FEC license and everything and number and all that and all, But it's only because I threw my hat in the ring. Okay. So I get the phone call. So he goes on and he opens with, I'm a, tremendous Hillary fan, and I said, well, did you look at the list on the body count list? We have 2 more dead bodies show up in Florida just this week, number 48 and number 49. I said, did you, recognize the dead bodies here? And, he didn't laugh. I thought he would go ahead and chuckle a little bit or something. He didn't even think it was funny at all. I said, but let me ask you, you said you were in the military. He's about my age, 65. For a number of years. I wonder what you did. I said, but do you remember the quote when you were standing there and they asked for volunteers? And all your friends would say, don't volunteer because you don't know what you're volunteering for.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's exactly where we are right now with the Democratic Party. So why are you calling? What's the point here? No, I don't like Hillary. He knew that. No, and I already suspect he was CIA. I know that. I have his phone number. But he was filling me out. And he said, well, how do you feel about CADIZ, C-A-D-I-Z? The CADIZ amendment. And I said, well, I think that was, was resolution is what it's called. I said, it hasn't been passed. It's proposed. I said, I think that was very well written. But see, between you and I hadn't really read it thoroughly. I didn't read it until after we got off the phone. Now I'm going to report it to you.
Yeah.
The CADIZ resolution that everybody in the Democratic Party is up in arms about is taking what's left of the Colorado River away from Lake Havasu, Lake Mead, all the way up to Mono Lake, and building a pipeline called the CADIZ project. You guys can Google it yourself. Wow. I did. CADIZ project, water project. And diverting that water along a rail line, the existing rail line, which is on Highway 10. It goes right through you guys all the way to Kingman.
Yeah.
Using that right of way and taking it directly to Los Angeles, bypassing San Bernardino, my district, and every other city from here to L.A., and just basically giving it to L.A. Now, what's that going to do? Billions of acre feet taken out from the aquifer. CADIZ is an aquifer, guys, and it's underground. And it's the largest aquifer of water in North America. That's an interesting concept. You didn't know what's under the ground where you live. You have a well, and maybe you're going down, I don't know how many feet. Well, on the California side of the border, we're going to take your water.
Wow.
We're going to start taking billions of gallons of water out of that aquifer, which we share equally between California and Arizona. But when I take water out of my San Bernardino side, county, remember, goes all the way to the Colorado River, my district, then I'm actually draining your water from Arizona.
Wow.
But we are divided politically.
Wow.
So that means that my side of the water district political party better join up with your side. I don't even know who is running for U.S. Congress that represents your district, whether it be Democrat or Republican. But I suspect it's Republican.
Yeah, so normally here, there is probably some Democrat too, but mostly this is a Republican district anyway. Yeah. Wow.
Well, guess what? The major plan is to drain, not the swamp, your water well.
Gee, this is I wonder how they can do that, because at the end of the day, Mohave County is supposed to have some saying too, if they're trying to dig a hole in Mohave County and ship all the water out all the way to California, somebody must give the approval here too. And also the state.
Not the way it's written. No, guys, that's what I keep trying to tell you.
Yeah. Not
the way this is written.
Okay.
Because the aquifer is so large. It's a lake under the desert.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. We are one of the best sources of water.
If I drain my end of the lake, the whole lake goes down.
Yeah.
That's how they're doing it. In other words, the aquifer is an underground lake.
Gee.
I tapped in on the San Bernardino side of the Colorado River. I don't need to ask you on your side, especially if you don't even know about it. I know no one in Mojave Desert has ever heard this before.
Wow.
I know no one has reported it on the news. That's why I called you and asked you if you allow me to be on your show.
Of course. This is break. I mean, really, people. Let's verify it. As I said, I want to find the hard copy of all this. This is devastating news. This is that dangerous news. I mean, could be also a very bad hit for all the population here, because if you have no water, you live in the middle of the desert, your property, your real estate, it's worth zero. That's the reality.
Exactly.
I mean, we're going to be,
Exactly.
We need to be very careful and active here, because they're doing in front of our eyes. I don't even know about in front of our eyes, because I didn't know about this. And you just told me.
Right. They're doing it behind your back, and that's why no one there knows about it.
Exactly.
And on the Love, Guns, and Freedom show, the people in Mohave County are, for the very first time, learning about it. And they say today, oh, well, it doesn't really affect me. Okay? Well, let me just tell you this. There was a 93-mile river called Riverside River.
Yeah.
That went all the way from San Bernardino County. The dam is right behind my house.
Yeah.
People don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
And now the river from San Bernardino all the way down through Santa Ana and all the way out through Irvine and all those cities, Anaheim, all the way to the ocean, is nothing but bare rock.
Yeah.
All that water. The dam that you didn't even know is right behind my house. It's been there. Diverts that water to fuel and feed L.A. It's called the L.A. Water District.
Yeah.
And there's movies about the power of the L.A. Water District back in the 50s and the 40s and the 30s, run by the mob. Well, let me tell you what, they're out of water. They drained a 93-mile river. You don't think they're going to drain your aquifer?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is.
It's happened before, and they did it behind people's back.
Wow.
Now I'm here to tell you guys, wake up, share this video. I called it. I wish it were a video. Radio station interview with everyone you know. And it's not enough to listen to this and do nothing. I want you guys to get proactive, because if you are out of water, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to notice the water quality in your, home is getting poorer and poorer and poorer, depending on where that aquifer lies in your area.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be an empty bubble that'll just emit gas with the water.
Wow.
Because gas flows above water level. So you'll be getting, for a period of time, some water, some gas. You'll see like air coming out of your pipe along with water, along with, the contaminants. But that may go on for a couple of years, and you'll be drinking that and getting your cancer and whatever you want to get. But then after that, there will be no water coming to you.
Yeah.
Unless you go and you can afford to drill, another 1,000 feet down.
Yeah.
Then next year you're going to have to do another 1,000 feet. So you're going to be permanently drilling for water. That's where you're going to be spending your money and your children's money. And that's why your property values will be worthless.
Exactly.
You need to get together on this, people. And remember, I'm not a politician. I never ran in my life. I'm 65. I ran at 63. I didn't know any of this. If I would have known this when I was a young boy right out of law school, I would have been different about all of it. But I hated politics. But I'm in this deep, so I'm not walking away at 65. I'm going to follow through, and I'm going to tell everybody the truth with your help, because I know your show is dedicated to telling the truth and only the truth. So I'm going to say to anyone right now that's listening to this, go online, Google it before they take it down. CADIZ Water Project, California. And there are thousands of photo images, documents, things that you can go ahead and look up to see that this plan has been in progress for 30 years.
This is really, I'm shocked, and I need to really investigate myself. I'm glad you told me this. Niste, how can people, if they want to reach you and also support you, regardless of where we are, we're all connected, as you can see, for your Congress, for your congressional seat. If people want to support you, contact you, please, can you give me a website or a phone number, whatever you can?
Okay, well, the best way to stay in touch with me is through my website, foreclosureammunition.com, where I have free videos on, homeowners getting pretty much illegally foreclosed on nationally, and the banks taking super control over everybody and everything, to the point that we are going to be, reduced to nothing but renters and slaves. And that's what I've been fighting against since 2008. And we're learning more and more every day. I don't like what I'm learning every day. I'm not happy to report this to you. I'm reporting it only because it's something that needs to be discussed. And for the record, they're using the word monument, national monument, instead of calling it what it is, a water project. Yeah. But the water project plans that I'm looking at, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the pipeline, the proposed pipeline, and they're going to run it along the railroad tracks, so they don't need to get easements, they don't have to disturb anybody. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd like to hear your comments before we hang up.
Listen, this is, unfortunately, nothing really surprises me, because the idea is this one. It's part also of a global plan or relocation of humanity. What they're trying to do is Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. It's an international plan by the United Nations, and they will use resources, in this case the water, to and also property taxes, like you were talking before, to, let's say, migrate the population like a bunch of cattle. Instead of rounding us up in the trains, now they will destroy our property value. They will remove water and control the weather. Don't forget, they've been doing weather modification the last 10 years, at least in the Southwest, at least at the new level. And this weather modification that is being completely now on the open, so much that former CIA director, Mr. Brennan, just a few months ago, last year, at the Council of Foreign Relations, and I played this audio and video a few times, admitted that the United States government and other governments around the world are using weather modification to fight global warming. That's the excuse. But the reality is that they are destroying the environment, and they are destroying also the aquifers, because we have no more precipitations like we used to have here in the desert. And now the last thing they need to remove to completely deplete our aquifer, so there is not going to be any more life here in this part of the Southwest. And what they want, their final goal, is to direct us like cattle in the big cities. They want everybody, according to Agenda 21, that's on the open. I mean, that's no more conspiracy out there. In these big cities, that we have no property rights. We will live in this sort of units provided by the government, like, 125 to 100 square feet tops, like a bunch of, sardines. And we have no more transportation. Of course, that's a sin. To own a car is not something that we can do as slaves. But the elite, meanwhile, all these different pro global warming stuff, they fly jets, private jets, like, Al Gore. But the point is, that's nothing surprises me, really. What surprises me, the fact that it's happening right now with this situation with the water plant. And I am glad, Ronald, that you came on the show to break this news, because we got to really now spread this message to everybody around the county, everybody around the state. Because if they're doing it here in Mohave County, they weren't going to do it probably everywhere else. But more important, the state must be involved too, our Arizona state. Ronald, I do really appreciate everything you do as a human being, as an American. I wanted just to ask you before I let you go, what do you think about this point, Donald Trump, really is really a threat of these globalists, or is part, your opinion, of their agenda, like a distraction? Because I know that there is something, they really hate him. Even sometimes, it's not perfect, but I really think it's getting on their nerves and it's slowing down their plans. What do you think?
I think that Donald Trump represents the American citizens that are patriots, that believe in the United States of America, that believe in our men and women in uniform, that believe in our police officers, that believe in our educational system, and that the hatred that is being portrayed against Donald Trump is basically hatred against us. Donald Trump has no friends in the Republican Party. Donald Trump has no friends, certainly, in the Democratic Party. The only friends of Donald Trump are the American people that voted for him. Yeah. That's truly what I think. And I'm saying to the American people that voted for him, don't expect any help from either party. For the first time in history, the American people have actually spoken up. Remember, Donald Trump defeated the Republican Party before he even got on the ballot. And then he defeated the Democratic Party on the ballot. He did it without the help of Republican money. He did it without the help of Democratic money. He did it only because Americans like you and me voted for him. Yeah. Cross-party lines. That's why there's so much dissent in the parties, including the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, from the state level to down to the county level and even higher to the national level. They don't know what to do because Americans are speaking up.
Yeah. No, I believe that's true. I believe that as much as I said, I wish you would do more, and many things I may not agree, but the point is really a threat to the globalists, is a threat to both parties. I mean, one thing I'm disappointed, honestly, Jeff Sessions, he is no friend of Donald Trump. He's no friend of all the American people. What he's been doing,
the Hillary flea bargain. I'll take that flea bargain. I want to hear about the 49 dead bodies.
Yeah. And
I think we need to go ahead and an investigation on who has Seth Rich's computer, his laptop, and to see who's been using it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And on top, let's talk about the Russia. Let's talk about the Russian connection. But why don't we talk about Hillary and the foundation, all the billions that the money that they've been taking to their foundation, and then the real uranium deal with Russia. I mean, that stuff, it's real. I mean,
Hillary sold, when she was Secretary of State, 20% of the entire uranium that the United States processes to Russia.
Wow.
Now, what's interesting, Hillary, that she had Joe Biden's son, Beau Biden, B-E-A-U, who was the Attorney General of, I think, Delaware or Connecticut, excuse me. You can Google it, as the president of that company.
Yeah.
In return for $145 million that Russia paid to not the Democratic Party, to the Clinton Foundation, and they also paid Bill Clinton cash for a half an hour to an hour speech of $500,000 when he went over there.
Yeah.
Her husband. And if you notice, the only Russian connection is our uranium going to Russia. Thank you, Hillary Clinton. But that's where the Russian connection lies. So what does she do?
Yeah.
She's really evil, in my opinion. She blames Trump for having a Russian connection. Oh, my God, guess what? Every company in America has a Russian connection. You know, every car dealer sells automobiles to Russia. Every steel manufacturer sells steel to Russia. Oh, Russia connection, Russia connection.
Yeah.
No, let's cut it down to the wire. The Russian connection that we're talking about are the illicit kickback payments to the Clinton Foundation of $145 million that we know of directly to Bill and Hillary Clinton, $500,000 that we know of that when Bill went over there on his tarmac in Russia, went out there, did a half an hour speech and got $500,000 cash to go home with.
Wow.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. So what her strategy has been is to blame Trump for what she did.
Yeah. And
so every time they blame Trump, you got to look at what did these people do? Why are they calling it a Russian connection? I mean, come on. It's because she's covering up.
Yeah.
Let me just finish with this. She took $1.5 billion from Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries to finance her campaign as president.
Yeah.
As long as Sessions and the FBI, Comey and I guess the new guy, and the generals are all focused on the Russian connections, we don't talk about the greater one, the $1.5 billion in Muslim money that was given to the Democratic Party National Committee to elect their representative called Hillary Clinton. That's the secret story they do not want out any more than they want out the KTOX project.
Yes.
TADIZ, Colorado River Aqueduct. They're going to build another one just to go down to San Diego and supply L.A. And drain every ounce of water we have left in the desert. And if they could find out a way to steal our sand, they would certainly do that.
Yeah. Listen, I want to say thank you. This is exactly the purpose of the show. We have no allegiance to none but the truth. And I'm glad what you're saying here, all the facts that you bring in about Hillary, you are probably the poster child for the real Democrat, okay? But a Democrat who loves America and loves the truth before his own party. And he does not play with corruption. That's why I like you about that. This is not about parties. And people start to bring, I have heard Democrats start to bring, Bush or other things. Listen, evil doesn't justify new evil. I mean, I'm all for, exposing Bush. But we cannot justify evil now just because, there was other evil before. We need to stop evil, period. That's the point. I don't care if it's a Bush, if it's Hillary or whoever. Now we have this situation that we need to at least investigate because it's so sad, We have people rotting in jail for really no crimes. We have people that they are facing years, 100 years in jail. I'm not kidding. Look at the Bundys and their trial. For no violent crime, nothing. Nobody got hurt. They are facing 80, 90 years. And we have people like Hillary who are really blood on their hands. And nothing's happening to her. This is no more America. This is not justice. This is a completely joke right now. And we need to bring back justice and the rule of law. Otherwise, there is no more really a country here. So I want to thank you because this is coming from you, as I said. This show does not belong to any party. I have allegiance to none. About the truth and the Constitution of America. That's why I like you, Ronald. Listen, thank you very much, and I'll be in touch with you. I have to go now. We have a little break. We are closing this hour. I have the devastating news about a bill that already has been...
30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Can I get 30 seconds?
Go ahead, of course. Go ahead.
People, help us stay alive. Buy Zanna Coffee. You think it's silly? No. It actually helps support the program. It helps support information that we can distribute like we just did today. It's because we need to keep the Love Guns and Freedom radio station alive. And through little things like buying Zanna Coffee. You need coffee anyway, get it from Zanna Coffee. It's online.
I appreciate it,
But
and that's true. That's true. That's
we
true.
We need to support each other.
That's true, because I tell you, this show, of course, the station, please support KTOX and all the other stations that broadcast this show. But me as an independent producer, You know, I'm not going out to try to beg for sponsor when I know that pretty much most of the business that they have a pretty much party mindset, especially in the county. You know, if you blast the Republican Party, you're not going to get anywhere around here, and that's fine. I don't care. That's why all people I need is my listeners. That's it. I need your support, and I appreciate it. You know, you can download any of my songs for just 99 cents. Go to zanna.us or on Amazon.com. And, of course, if you want to get Zanna Coffee, go to www.zannacoffee.com. Ronald, thank you very much. I'll be in touch with you. Don't go away. Stay there. And please, ready for the final segment of this hour. I have very, very devastating news. A bill they're trying to pass in the U.S. Congress. If you boycott Israel, you can spend 10 years in jail and become a felony for life. This is very serious. These people need to read our Bill of Rights, our First Amendment. Okay, don't go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short, and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
237 members of the House, both Republicans and Democrats, have co-sponsored similar bills that would make it a felony to support the BDS movement. BDS, or the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions Movement, is a response to calls from Palestinian civil society for non-violent measures to pressure Israel to comply with international law and respect Palestinian human rights. It's modeled after South Africa's anti-apartheid movement of the 70s and 80s. The legislation, called the Anti-Israel Boycott Act, would make it illegal for individuals to participate in boycotts called for by international organizations. That includes boycotting products made in Israeli settlements that were built on Palestinian land in violation of international law, something the European Union already does. Anyone who violates the law would face a minimum civil penalty of $250,000 and a maximum criminal penalty of $1 million and 20 years in prison. That's more time than most rapists spend behind bars. It gets worse. Several of the bill's co-sponsors didn't even realize it violated free speech or came with such harsh penalties. Our colleagues at The Intercept reached out to Democratic Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, and he said, "What's the act? You'll have to get back to me on that." They received a similar response from Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey. He said, "I'd want to read it. I'd really have to look at it." And these are the bill's co-sponsors. But the most interesting response The Intercept received came from the bill's primary sponsor.
If we had criminal sanctions in it, we give it judiciary. I just don't think that's in our bill.
So, a bill whose sponsors seem out of the loop at best is working its way through Congress. This comes after the powerful pro-Israel group AIPAC lobbied both houses of Congress for these bills and made passing them one of its top priorities for 2017. The ACLU has condemned both the Senate and House attempts to criminalize the BDS movement. In recent letters to Congress, the organization called the move a mockery of the constitutional principle that Americans are free to believe as they choose, and also wrote that such boycotts rightly enjoy First Amendment protection. The proposed legislation in Congress is just the latest in a growing crackdown on BDS. At least 21 states have considered or adopted bills to ban state officials from doing business with anyone who supports the BDS movement. And BDS supporters across college campuses have come under attack with accusations of being anti-Semitic, despite the fact that the movement enjoys considerable support from Jewish advocates of Palestinian rights. This new legislation may be getting support from politicians on both sides of the aisle, a rare thing given the current political climate in the U.S. But cracking down on free speech and political activism, that doesn't sound very American.
Okay, no, that's disturbing. And I want to be sure everybody understands out there. I don't give a crap about Palestine. I don't give a crap about Israel. I care about America and our Constitution and Bill of Rights. So not because, I'm here let's say, exposing this fascistic bill that they try to suppress our First Amendment, that if you boycott Israel, you may face 20 years in jail. I mean, what, $250,000? This is insane. I want to boycott the Pope. I will boycott anybody I want. So this is about freedom. I want to be sure, because I wish the best. I wish the best to Israel. I wish the best to Palestine. They need to sort it out. They've been fighting each other for 2,000 years. And now at this point, you know what? They need to do it with our money. Okay? We are not anymore Israel's bitch. I'm tired to be forced to pay tax dollar. You know, talking about socialism, all these constitutionalists, they call conservatives, Republicans, that they, you know, they, even Democrats, they don't care. I mean, but the Democrats, we already know, they love socialism. And this, the Republicans, they're supposed to be for, you know, lower taxes. Guess what? Our tax dollar is going by the billions going to Israel. That's the point. So anyway, let me shut up. This is I wanted to share with you because it's very disturbing what's happening, what they're trying to do in Congress. Try to criminalize freedom of speech. We're supposed to have the right to express our political opinions, economic opinions, and of course, if we want to boycott, we boycott everybody. This is not about Israel or Palestine. It's about freedom. Anyway, I got 1 second here, 1 minute or two. Mr. Ronald O'Donnell, my friend, Democratic friend, that, you know, he got some exciting news. We recorded the interview yesterday, and he got some sort of a communication from his party. Ronald, are you there?
Oh, I'm sure he is. Yeah, how you doing, Zanna? How's everybody doing? Everybody buy some Zanna Coffee. My favorite is Route 66.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. Lisa, tell us exactly what happened. We finished our recorded interview that we just played on the air a few minutes ago before this segment, and you got a communication from your party. What happened, or what's supposed to be your party?
Well, the political director of the entire California party is Clark Lee. First time I ever heard of that, but that's who he is. Mm-hmm. And he says on behalf of the Democratic Party chair, which remember that they're fighting who's the chair? It's not even done yet.
Yeah.
I'm writing to inform you that the California Democratic Party removal petition filed by some fellow Jeff Koertzen. How do you pronounce that? Coercion. But I know he's a LGBT XYZ member. Mm-hmm. For the removal of Ronald O'Donnell will be reviewed by the statewide officers following the August executive board meeting, August 25th to 27th. A hearing may be set thereafter to consider the member removal petition. Well, what this is telling me is that our communications are, one, not secure, two, that the Democratic Party Central Committee is listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom radio show.
Well, this one, the show, wow. we never recorded, we never heard this part of the show yet. That was fun.
Right, but I'm saying that we only did that yesterday.
Yeah.
At around 3 or 4 o'clock, and I get a response to the show that you haven't. It won't even be out until Sunday.
Yeah.
We did this on Thursday, and they're already responding to it. What's that? I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
But how do they know what Sunday's show is going to sound like on Thursday at 8 o'clock, 4 hours after we did the show? We taped it.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it must have been reading your mind because, you know, the show was recorded and we didn't air it till a few minutes ago right now on the air when people are listening. But listen, you know, as I said before to you, they tried to oust you from the party. Guess what? They are not the party anymore. I mean, this is the bottom line. These people are not Democrats. These people...
They're struggling. It's in chaos. They're scrambling. They're doing whatever they can. You know, this guy he's emailing me saying that I'm supposed to beg him for some kind of forgiveness. So let me give you my response. It's brief.
Go ahead.
I just responded with, before any hearing regarding me, I'm entitled to a complete contact information of anyone who signed the petition at least 30 days in advance of the hearing so that I can verify those signatures under the Democratic Party bylaws. I have not received any contact information as of yet. Keep in mind that I was seated as an ex officio California Democratic Party member by over 141,751 voters, and not by Chris Robles, former chair of the San Bernardino County Central Committee, which is, by the way, contested, too, or the California State Democratic Party. In other words, I'm saying I was placed in there by the voters, not by the political people. The voters put me in.
Yes.
And I went further and said I'm entitled to legal counsel to challenge those signatures, and I intend to do that. If you do not like that, then change the Democratic Party bylaws in order to affect the results that you wish to make. Also, you did not leave me any contact information regarding you. Please do so in all further communications.
Wow.
I will not back down. In addition, I happen to know that you do not speak for the chair, Eric Bauman. Eric has my contact information, and we have spoken personally, and if he had any issue, that he would contact me directly.
Ronald, 30 seconds. We have 30 seconds. We have to close. Go ahead.
Okay. Additionally, if the committee must make any decision regarding a recall, it's not you. Perhaps it's time for a new political director. It is time for a change in the Democratic Party, starting with you.
Wow.
Ronald O'Donnell, candidate for United States Congress.
Very good, Ronald. I'll need to let you go, but listen to me. I'm proud of you because this is exactly the spirit of independence, the spirit of freedom, that we do not submit to any type of authority, especially when it's corrupted. That's my point. I don't care which party leader, and that's what we need to do to change, to take back this country. I don't even want to change. I would like to take it back. That's the bottom line. And as I said before, I would never be like to associate it to any party or anybody in the party who supports, forget about different political opinions, and not even that the point, who supports an alleged criminal like Hillary Clinton. That's the bottom line. This is not about more politics. It's about supporting and aiding a criminal. Okay, listen, guys.
Well, that's what our hearing's going to be all about.
Very good.
Hillary Clinton, traitor to the United States government.
Excellent. This is coming from a 50 years old-timer Democrat. Okay, guys, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Do not go away. Great second hour, all about guns and great information. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on United States.fm network.
Awaken the warrior in you with Skadi, the new AR-15 rifle by Zanna Enterprises LLC. I am Skadi, Norse goddess of winter, hunting, and just revenge. I am Skadi. I am Skadi. I am Skadi. I am chambered in 223 Wild and can shoot 556 NATO and 223 Remington. My trigger is crisp and fast. An average of 4 pounds out of the box. Call me a fast girl. I can shoot over 5 rounds in 1 second. But I'm focused too. With only iron sights and no bench, I can hit 1 square inch at 25 yards. I am Skadi. I am Skadi. I am Skadi. I bow down to no one. I am independent. I am fierce. I am a warrior. My Viking spirit has been reborn in a fabulous new body, all made in the USA. I am Skadi. I am Skadi. I am Skadi. I can withstand a loaded Humvee running over me and still look pretty. I am Skadi. Find me at www.ar15shop.us. I am Skadi. 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 Find me at www.ar15shop.us. www.ar15shop.us. I am Skadi.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna, and of course, this is the second hour, the hour about guns. Now, let me tell you, a lot of exciting news. We have a CCW class, Arizona CCW class, starting in September the 2nd and the 3rd, exactly in Havasu City at Against All Enemies. Oh, I love Patrick. Patrick is the owner. I mean, listen, I work hard. I've never seen somebody working harder than me. 7 days on 7 days, 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night. And sometimes, we went there at this shop like the day after business hours to do a little video that I would like to invite you to watch. That is about exactly explaining why, the 6 benefits why you should attend and also have one of these CCW permits with us. The point is this one, guys. First of all, yes, Arizona, let me tell you something. It's a beautiful state. There are a lot of problems, of course. Things can be better. But when it comes down to the Second Amendment, I think that's it. It's heaven, if you believe in heaven. Or Valhalla, if you believe in Valhalla. The point is, we don't even need a permit. But people say, why do you even try to push the CCW? Let me tell you, there are 6 good reasons. And I give you the short story right now. First of all, it's called education. I mean, we're talking about laws that you better be aware. This is not like about the time to make a mistake. If you do a mistake here, it may cost you your life, the life of an innocent, or even as bad, you may go to jail. Simple as that. You better know your laws. Do you know when you can use lethal force? You know when you can display, let's say, a gun for self-defense or a firearm for self-defense. You know where you can carry a gun or where you cannot carry a gun without getting in trouble. So there are a lot of important information. Our classes that I organize with Patrick of, Against All Enemies, they are about 5 hours. And what do we offer? Not only one of the longest and the best curriculums in the industry. I mean, if you want to read the curriculum, go to az-ccw-class, okay? But also what we have, it's free fingerprinting included, and also $20 off if you come with a friend. Guess what? For both of you. 20 and 20. So it's amazing. Patrick of Against All Enemies in Lake Havasu City. And I will tell you more after this segment that I have right now with Dennis, that also is one of my students who took already the class and also has his CCW with his girlfriend. Dennis, are you there?
Yes.
All right, man. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
All right. Very good. I was talking a little bit about pushing the class that we're organizing here. And I remember you did a class with me. I had a lot of fun with you guys, you and your lady. So finally you got your permit, right?
Yes, and we're real excited about it. And that was a really good class. In fact, I have an AR-15 rifle, and I want to get one of your Skadis, too. I've been looking at it. I'm going to get one here soon. And we wanted to talk to you about it, like, in the near future here. We want to try and take that AR-15 defense class, that class that's really good. And we learned a lot from that class, and we actually, Gina got her first firearm, and we wouldn't have felt comfortable carrying if we didn't take that class. I mean, you can do it online. It's a quicker class, but you don't get the attention, and you need the confidence.
Yeah, and also online. Let me be specified. The online class that they're offering, I think it's from Virginia State. It is valid if you are a Virginia resident, but if you live in Arizona, you must have the class in Arizona only. And if you're an Arizona resident, you are not allowed to do classes online. You must be physically participating. So I want to be sure all the people out there, because I took that class too online just because I wanted to see how it works. And it's a 1 hour simple class I think it's the Virginia State, and it complies with the Virginia rules. But if you are not, let's say, an Arizona resident, if you're a Virginia resident, it's okay. But if you're an Arizona resident, that's not going to work. You must have an Arizona CCW permit. That's the bottom line. But at least, as I said, at the end of the day here, it is more than just a piece of plastic. It's about information. And I want to be sure people understand, in 5 hour class, you don't know everything. At least what I'm trying to show you, the things that you do not know. And then is the beginning of the journey. And I hope you can continue your training, because that's the idea, to have also a continuous training, to learn how to present a gun, to shoot a gun. All right, Lista, let me tell you something. First of all, this is the hour about guns. Which handgun did you buy finally?
Gene and I both got we got the Taurus PT 111.
Okay, so you like that?
So because we really like it. We listened to your opinion about the Glock, and we really kind of wanted to go that route, but we like the safety. I know you know your fingers the safety, but she's new to the guns too, and she just likes the safety. So it's basically like a Glock with a safety.
That's good.
And it's a really good gun. I mean, we really like them.
That's good. At least, as I said, the gun is a personal thing. It's an extension of your body. Here we go. We had a little problem here. I was recording with Dennis, and from Havasu, by the way, but now I think he lives in Bullhead. And out of the blue, my computer starts to freeze up. Once in a while it happens. I understand it's a very hot season. Maybe that's what is happening. But regardless, we are back. We were talking about guns, exactly which gun Dennis and his girlfriend bought. And as I said, I don't care which gun you have, because at the end, whatever gun you have is the one works for you. I'm not here to push any brand or any model. All I say, spend some time with the gun. Be sure that exactly fits your hand. Be sure that also the caliber is the one that you're looking for. And also, it fits your price and makes you comfortable. That's the idea. After all, as I said, the gun is an extension of your body. Yes, it is not just a piece of metal. You're supposed to become almost one thing. It is just an extension. So not every gun fits in the same way. But all I care at the end, that at least you have a gun, you train with a gun, and you carry that gun, and you're proficient with that gun. That's the bottom line. All right, let me bring Dennis back. Dennis, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, man. Back on the show. We were talking about, unfortunately or fortunately, it's part of the process. When you have a firearm, you have a great responsibility, and means also a great liability. Many things can happen. That's why I always say, start to educate yourself. Yes, in Arizona you can carry a gun without permit, but it's not about the permit itself. Even if you don't want to have a CCW permit, at least knowing the laws, that's very important, because you can get in a lot of trouble. You carry the gun in the wrong place, or you display the gun for self-defense when you're supposed not to, and God forbid you use lethal force when you're supposed not to. So that's the point, education. So lawyers are part, unfortunately, of our life. I hope didn't have to be like that, but in a civil society, most of the times, to resolve our problems, we go through the judicial system. And, civil liability is part of the process. So we need to always have an attorney around. Now, I want to be a premise here. I'm not endorsing anything that, you're saying, and I'm not even getting paid. But I believe that now what, my friend Dennis is going to say on the air can have some real good benefits to investigate, at least. Because Dennis found a few years ago an opportunity to have access to a legal network without, every time selling your home. Because that's unfortunately what happens. If you want to defend yourself with a lawyer, guess what? Probably you got to put a third mortgage on your home. So let me introduce Dennis a little bit. Dennis, what exactly did you do? What is exactly the name of the organization that you're trying to share here on the show?
The organization is called Legal Shield. And what it is it's basically insurance for legal protection. And for under $20 a month, and they have ID theft, or they have ID protection as well. But for under $20 a month, you can insure your family for legal protection. So you get unlimited lawyer consultations. They send letters for you. They basically, I've been a member of this service since 2009. And I've also been an associate where I sell the service, but I have a website, and I usually just have been using it. I sell a couple memberships a year. I have a couple of people signed up to sell it as recruits, like when I first started. And I share it with my friends when they need it, when they need legal help. Over the years, over the past 8 years, I have used this service so much, and it has recently helped me. The law firm in Arizona, which is Davis, Miles, and McGuire, which is the one that we're contracted with as Arizona residents. Each state is different. In California, it's Parker Stanberry. But, they've recently helped me with an issue that has changed my life. And It's not the only issue that I've used them so much that I just feel that I've been talking to people in Mohave County, and nobody that I've talked to really has this or knows about this out here. So I just felt that I really needed to start really working this business and sharing it with people, because it's a necessity. Okay, I've also been in, opportunity to see court cases, a divorce case and a DCS case recently, and I've seen how not only how the lawyers deal with their clients, but the public defenders, and it's a joke. I mean, it's not for you. And lawyers are $250 an hour. And if you call a lawyer for something, I mean, you're going to get a bill. They itemize it down. You're either dealing with the clerk at $80 an hour or the lawyer for $250, and you'll have an itemized thing of made a phone call, sent an email, 0.25 hours. I mean, it is crazy. Legal Shield is you sign up, you're a member, you have access to a lawyer. So your network in Arizona is Davis, Miles, and McGuire. You call the number, you tell them your issue. You will have a lawyer from that firm call you back that deals with your issue. You won't have a lawyer that deals with everything. You're going to have a lawyer that deals with that issue. Then you call that lawyer, and they will walk you through your issue until it's over. Okay? I mean, that's basically what I've used the service for, over and over and over. Okay? I've actually had to obtain attorneys a couple times, and when you get to the point where you need an attorney, they refer you to an attorney within their network, the Legal Shield network. You automatically get 25% off. They usually refer you to an attorney that's local to the court that you're at, which matters because they know the DA. They're in that county or whatever it is, so they know the ins and outs of the local courtroom, and they're not going to rip you off because they don't want to get kicked out of the Legal Shield network. It's just, and usually you won't get to that point, but it's nice to know that you get that percentage off if you get to that point. It's basically, after hearing what you were talking about on your last radio show with Marissa Hamilton and talking about how the police officer took that person's money, also now they have an observation DUI officer. I mean, it just seems like our Bill of Rights are eroding more and more every day. And people don't think they need this service until they need it. And I'm telling you, for under the $20 a month, I would never be without this. I mean, it's the one bill throughout. I mean, I've had ups and downs in my finances. I'm doing well now, but I've been up and down. It's the one bill that I've always kept. I mean, I just feel that, I mean, everybody needs this, and I just wanted to share it. And,
you know something, Dennis, I want to look into this even more myself, because I tell you, first of all, let me put the volume lead up. I'm already have a plan that is different from yours, because this is my plan. It's through USCCA just for the gun liability, in case I get in a gunfight and I need to defend myself, even though without guns, even just for self-defense. But what you're talking here, it is something that unfortunately is becoming more and more common every day. As you said, you drive on the highway, they pull you over, you bring it at them, maybe some cash or something valuable. All they have to say, we suspect that this has come from a drug deal, and bang, they impound your stuff without due process, and then you got to pay lawyers to get your stuff back. Meanwhile, you have no assets. So it's something I think it's something to think about. After all, what is $20 a month? It's like what, 67, 70 cents a day? I mean, not even that. I mean, not even a glass of water. I mean, the price of a mineral water. So I really believe that we need to have all the tools we can as law-abiding people. We want to defend our rights, because the problem is this one. The system normally comes after people who are poor, who are people that they cannot defend themselves. I mean, they unleash the dogs. When it comes down to that, let's say, for example, if they want to get your child, most of the time they come after people, for example, they have a family behind, they have no economic resources to defend themselves. Same story. They want to put you in jail and throw the book at you. Guess what? They will do when they know that you have a public defender, because they can set an example. So I believe, we need to look into that. If people wants to know more about that, how does it work? They need to contact you directly? There is a website? Give us some more information.
Yeah, let me give you my website. It's kind of, let me spell it out here for you. To go check out all the services, it gives you all the prices. There's all kinds of services. If you own a business, you can actually sign up for the different how many employees you have. And, of course, it's a little bit more if you own a business, because you're going to be using it a lot more and for more serious purposes. But the website to go to check everything out is legalshield.com/hub/Dennis L. Hunter. So let me spell it out. legalshield.com/hub/DENNISLHUNTER. and then maybe you could post a link or something. Maybe post a link to my Facebook, because I've made a Facebook page.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get the 200 likes I need so I can get rid of the long, web page address and all that, so I can actually put it on my business card. And like I said, I've always just kept this business to share with friends. And, I've just recently been really looking into this because I've used this service so much. I've always used it. I've just considered it as my personal attorney. And recently they helped me with an issue that has changed my life, Luca. And it's really, it made me start looking into the company more. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I not sharing this more? Why am I not doing this as a business? I'm so passionate about this, and I believe in this so much. It's just, they have walked me through situations where I would have had to pay a lawyer $25 an hour. They have walked me through situations where I've had to call them 7 or 8 times, and they've told me the paperwork to fill out, how to file it. They've reviewed the documents before I filed them. They basically walked me through court cases where they've basically been my attorney without me having to hire an attorney.
Wow.
It's just, and I do think, let me clarify, the insurance you have for the attorney that will represent you if you have to defend yourself in a confrontation using a firearm, those are, now I'm sure the law firms have attorneys that deal with that also. I'm sure they have somebody that has an expertise in that, and I'm sure you could use Legal Shield for that. But I'm sure that the thing that you have for that is probably more specialized lawyers that deal with that all the time. But this is for everything.
Exactly. It's different.
Let me just say too, if you were to sign up, you also get an app that you download so that if you get a speeding ticket, like the simple things in life, you take a picture of it right there and you upload it to your law firm, and then the law firm automatically gets it. Then you'll get a call back within 8 hours or so, and they'll tell you what to do about the ticket. They'll help you fight the ticket. Yeah. And it's just amazing. And the basic membership is $17.95 a month, and if you want your family and all your dependents to be covered, like your kids and your wife, it's $19.95 a month.
Wow.
And you can't even have a lawyer send an email for that.
No, I agree. Listen, it's not even if you want to offer me coffee to a lawyer, it's going to cost you more money. That's a fact. But, listen, as I said, there are two different things. USCCA is exactly just for gun-related or self-defense issues. And, yes, also the package is different because they cover you $250,000 in cash. It's not just about a discount or even more. But it's beautiful because, as I said, sometimes you don't need an attorney, but a letter or just to have a consultation can give you the opportunity to get out of that situation. That's my point. And sometimes people, the first problem is who do I call? Even the attorney that normally they do this for business, that's what they do. They won't get paid, of course. It's even hard to get them because sometimes they are so busy, they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, let me give you this example. Like I said, Gina, my fiance, she's been dealing with her divorce case and the case with DCS, which is now being resolved thanks to Legal Shield. She has a public defender, okay? And this public defender, they basically, they're in the system with the attorneys that are against you, and we had to sign her up for Legal Shield and call the law firm and to get the truth. So, we actually used them to get the truth to find out what these attorneys were doing, because they don't have when you get a public defender and you think they're going to defend you, they don't have your best interest at heart. They're getting paid their probably their $175 an hour or whatever it is, because they're getting paid by our tax dollars.
Yeah.
And they just want to get you through the system and get your money. And it's usually not your best. You need this. We needed this for her to get advice about her lawyers.
Yeah.
And then we had to tell the public defender what to go do.
Oh, listen, listen. My grandfather used to say, in life you need to have three things: a dentist, an attorney, and a gunsmith. And I really believe that's where we are. We need to have them all three. Because at the end of the day, without an attorney, as much, as I said, don't get me wrong, the system is still rigged. But the point, at least you have a chance to not being completely, defenseless. Because, most of the times, The court system, the judicial system, is not about truth or justice. It's about if you have the resources to save your ass. As simple as that. There are a lot of people out there that they are innocent. They really have a strong case, and they unfortunately didn't have the right attorney, and bang, probably they're spending 20 years in jail. They're throwing the book at them. I don't believe in money that is the final goal of humanity, because I'm not that type of person. I believe first thing I want to be is freedom. But unfortunately, without money, it's hard to get freedom, because that's the way you use money as a tool to defend yourself and your family. That's why your solution, I believe, for $17, $20 a month, guess what? It gives you a great advantage, at least to start to look for the right attorney, or maybe the consultation that you need without spending thousands of dollars. And as I said before, guys, listeners, the purpose of the show, when I sell you something, I tell you. This is not a sale. Did I get paid by you, Dennis?
No, but I'm going to go buy some coffee, and I'm going to
go
fine. To that.
I appreciate it, but that's not a sale. The point is, I bring you here because I think you have something good to share, and that's my goal. I want to share good information with my listeners, at least the opportunity. Then at the same time, I remember to my listeners that you are my sponsors, because if I had to rely on corporate sponsors, guess what? I wouldn't have the freedom to say the things I want to say, and I will say no matter what. So that's the way we can keep this show like a complete freedom of speech platform, that we can talk about everything, and even things sometimes, let's say if I don't like a product, I'll tell you. If I don't like a company, I tell you. If I like somebody, I tell you, because I'm not getting paid. The only people who can support me, it's you, the listeners. And the beautiful thing, you always get something back beside the show. Zanna Coffee is there, zannacoffee.com. People say, Luca, I don't drink coffee. That's fine. Go to zanna.us and download a couple of songs, 99 cents. And guess what? Everything helps. We got a new book, Perfectly Crazy, on Amazon.com. And we have CCW classes that also I do it. By the way, there is one class coming the 2nd and the 3rd of September, Saturday and Sunday, in Havasu, at exactly Against All Enemies. So there are a lot of ways you can support the show. Dennis, I want to give you the floor, the last minute to close. Go ahead.
Yes, let me just say, I've had the opportunity to see several court cases this year. I was watching that live PD show last night, and I just want to tell the people out there, please, if you get pulled over and you are accused of something, even if you're innocent, okay, you are entitled to a defense. You are entitled to your rights. Please don't talk. Just ask for your attorney. Don't. It's just amazing what people do, when they're intimidated and arrested by police. Ask to speak to your lawyer. Get this service. Have that lawyer. It's like when you get this service, you have an attorney. You have an attorney always, and you have a better attorney than the wealthy person who has an attorney at their phone, in their phone Rolodex or their cell phone, because their attorney is an attorney that's trying to be a jack of all trades. This is a firm that you have, that they have all the attorneys that specify in all the different issues. So just like I said, don't be a sheep. Have an attorney. Go check out my site and just stand up for your rights. Know your rights. At least have some avenue to find out what your rights are.
All right. Listen, I may even call you on Monday or Tuesday. I want to have some more questions for you. And I have a friend of mine that really may need you. I'll talk to you in person, okay?
Okay, great.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much, Dennis. My best to you and your lady, okay? Keep me posted.
Okay, thank you, Luca, very much.
All right. That was Dennis from Now Bullhead. He's a listener, and probably he's one of my first listeners. And also, I believe he's a great guy. He's a guy that is not afraid to stand up for what he believes. Sometimes, many people are afraid of corruption. He's there, and he's trying to do his part. Anyway, now, little break, and we continue with the final hour of Love, Guns, and Freedom. Second hour about guns. And don't forget, we have the final hour, the third hour, with a great guest from New Zealand. Great information. Do not go away.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises, LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and 104.1 FM. And also, of course, don't forget on lovegunsfreedom.com. Second hour. This is the final segment of the second hour. And normally we talk all about guns. You heard before Dennis just a few minutes ago that it's not just about guns here. It's also about how to defend our gun rights and in general all our rights. The importance of an attorney, it's vital. Yes, as much as I despise them, and by the way, I don't want to be mean to attorneys. I studied, at least I almost finished my studies when I was in Italy to become an attorney. So, it can be a noble profession too. Unfortunately, you need to find, let's say, decent attorney that they're also human beings before just they want your money. That's hard. But it's hard in any business you do. That's why you got to find good people, a network of people that you can trust. Now, talking about people that you can trust, I have a guy here that I've been connected to him for years. I didn't meet him just yesterday. Life, sometimes I always believe we're all interconnected in some way, even sometimes when you don't believe it or you don't think. It's almost like a chain reaction of events. So anyway, I've been knowing this gentleman for a few years for different things. We have things that we share in passion together. We have same interests. And also, we have things that we've done together. Political activism. I mean, when a few years ago I was, let's say, leading because, I was suing in federal court the county for violation of rights. We also were doing a peaceful protest. And, this man is a veteran that he was standing with me like many other people. But, he was standing on the front line in front of the offices of these corrupted politicians in Mohave County. And from there, of course, we started to know each other better and many other things. You know him. I already had him on my show a few times. His name is Charles Black. And beside that, we have things in common that we like. He's also the man, somehow, that has been helping me the last few months to realize the multimedia production of some of my new projects. And all this started really almost by accident. He called me one day, said, look, I got some great salmon for you. Come stop at my place. Long time I don't see you. And that's true. I didn't see him probably in about a few years, a couple of years at least. And finally I stopped at this place. He got this beautiful salmon that he fished directly in Alaska. And I said, oh, great. And then I come to his office and I see all these computers, video cameras, and he shows me his great job. He really likes to learn and he's trying to get into this multimedia production. I said, wow, you're more than just an amatorial. You're really getting serious here. So anyway, he offered to help me out to start to, let's say, create the presentation of some of my new products of my new company, Zanna Enterprises. I'm talking about guns. So, the first product was the upper Skadi, and then we've been working now on Skadi, of course, the short movie, and the commercials, many other things. Guess what? Everything, I believe, happens for a reason. Like in chemical, nothing gets destroyed, all transformed. So much that after the last few months we've been working together. I like to work with Charles because he's a solid guy. When I do something, I do it immediately. I don't waste time. And so Charles. And we have a schedule, we have goals, we have fun, but at the same time, we don't mess around. And that's the way I like to work, and I like people like him. That's why I say, I get along with Charles. And I don't need to agree on everything, but sometimes, we have also a good way to express ourselves, to communicate, and we're always in a very good terms. So normally I don't like to work with other people, but I guess what? I said, Charles is good. So we started a new idea, and now Charles is going to tell us. Charles, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hopefully you didn't fall asleep. I know it's still morning here and probably my little introduction. So anyway, let's talk about the new great, glorious project that we have in front of us. Go ahead.
Well, pretty much what we have created is 360 Media Productions.
Wow.
We're going to go out as a full media production company doing photo, video, aerial media for local businesses, weddings, private individuals, nonprofits, you name it, we got you covered.
Yes. You know what I like about, by the way, this has been like an evolution, natural evolution, we got a great project that we started just as collaboration between me and you. And from there I say, you know what? Honestly, that was my idea. Why don't we do something that we can also not just enjoy like we're doing, but also make some money? Because I say money a part of life. And I want to be sure people understand my philosophy, because money for me is not the end. It's just a tool. if you want to be free in this world, I say you need to have a couple things. First of all, you need to enjoy what you're doing. Every time I do something, it's not about money, because I really like it. And I enjoy working with you. I enjoy doing the projects we've been doing. And now, by the way, we will talk more in details what we're finishing here, what we're completing. But also then at the point, after you enjoy something that you like, that's very important, so you can work pretty much, it's like a hobby, you don't feel like you're working. Then you got to have the second part, is the money element. It is what represents freedom. Money is not the God, is not the final goal, but is a tool that allows you, hey, today I don't want to work, I don't work. Today I don't want to talk to you, I don't need to talk to you. I don't need to I can do whatever I want in my own life without, bowing down to anybody. That's what I like about, the spirit of enterprise, to create your own destiny and also to create your own independence. So as I think we have a good teamwork, me and you together so far. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And, you talk about money, but, I know our goal behind it is we want people to be able to afford this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, cutting prices to making this a reality for the smaller mom-and-pop businesses, and not the big corporations. The big corporations can spend $20,000, $30,000 on a 30-second commercial, and they don't think twice about it.
Exactly.
Little mom-and-pop businesses can't do that.
Exactly. And now this is true, and I like exactly the philosophy. That's why I said there is a market, because we want to have top-notch quality multimedia production, especially for the internet now that there is so much marketing you can do, like these videos. Viral videos can get you thousands or millions of views if you make a good videos with really limited cost. And you don't need to spend $20,000, but you can spend even a few $100 and have a great products. And also another thing I really got excited, and we didn't waste time at all, was the aerial drones. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I've been flying the little recreational tiny aerial drones for a little over a year now, and I've slowly upgraded, but now we have brought on a high-quality drone that films in ultra-high definition. And I'm finishing off my FAA Part 107 license, so we're completely legal with the FAA, and we're going to be offering commercial drone services.
Yes.
Whether it be video, photography, inspections. I mean, some of these places that big companies need inspected is extremely dangerous to send a person up to look at.
Yes.
So having a drone, you can go take video and photo, look at these things in real time, and make assessments on if the structure's damaged, needs repaired, or if it's good to go.
Exactly. No, this is really good. On top, it's very exciting because it's a new market, and it's still, I believe, it's something that you can have a lot of opportunities for everybody, especially also for, let's say, the consumer, the customer out there. I mean, now you can have for affordable price, the opportunity to have another angle from the sky. You can present your company, for example, from 350 feet and going down. Think about if you are a car dealer, I mean, you want to look how beautiful your car lot is. What type of, also your new car, how it's performing on the road. I mean, we can follow your car on the highway, or maybe even better on the desert road, and have a different angle like you have in an airplane without having an airplane. So it's really amazing, and it's affordable. And also another thing I like, as much as I hate the word licenses and permits, but, we follow the book, and we have, first of all our pilots, they're licensed with the FAA, and I may get my license too, as you know. And also we are insured, and we are there professionally for a great, affordable price that everybody can afford. Let's please give the information how people can reach us, because I know the website, but you can tell them better.
Okay, the website is 360mediaproductions.com.
Perfect.
And you can also find us on Facebook. Everything is going to be live by this week, by the end of the weekend. So you'll be able to go to it. You can contact us directly through the website. So if you've got questions, you can, and on Facebook, you can even schedule an appointment for us to come out, and one of us will be there to give you a consultation, go over what your dreams are for your business, your video, and then we'll collaborate it, put it together, film it just like almost like a Hollywood movie production, and then we'll edit it. And all of our editing software is actually the same software that's being used in Hollywood today. So we've got top-of-the-line software, and then we'll deliver your video right to you, and you can load it on your social media, your website, wherever you need it.
Yes, yes. And I tell you something, guys. It's not an accident that I work with Charles because, you know, I keep my friendship one thing and business another thing. And I can be friend with somebody doesn't mean that I want to do business with somebody. But when I find somebody that, you know, he likes to work, he's enjoying what he does. Number one, I always like to find people that they like. When I see somebody who likes what he's doing, that's a good start. It means that you're not just doing it for the money. You enjoy what you're doing. And that means you're going to give the best of yourself. That's normally what I do myself. You know, I pick things that I really like. I'm not here just to say I need to make a buck. No, I enjoy doing this. Then, of course, I see also somebody that he wants to, you know, try to give the best in everything. Doesn't matter if it's a small project for luca-zanna or for a big project for a big corporation. He always treats you with the same and the best, let's say, efforts. That's very important. And now, talking about projects, we got some projects that we are closing this week together for my company. First of all, don't trade on us. We have this little short trailer that we are pretty much ready to go. And today we're going to finish shooting the final part of the range. Am I right?
That is correct. That one should be ready to launch on social media by the beginning of the week.
Perfect. And I would like to show also, for example, to some people who wants to see a little bit of the editing and the qualities of the production. If you go to ar15shop.us right now, there is an intro. It's just the intro about Zanna Enterprises, and also, more important, the intro about AR15 Shop, that you can see how can you do with a very limited budget, but you look like $1 million company. I mean, do you like the intro or that AR15shop.us? I think came out very nice. I have a lot of great feedback from people. Did you enjoy that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the idea.
It was actually a lot of fun to put together, too.
Yeah, and that's the idea, you know. We're having fun, too. That's the beautiful thing. Now, next project, I know a lot of people have been asking me, so what happened to Skadi, the commercial, and Skadi, the short movie? We are working on it, right, Charles? Next week is going to be...
Absolutely. That one is... We'll just say that there's a lot of work because we're adding a lot of visual effects into this.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a lot more time. Most people don't realize Hollywood movies, they film them. It'll still take them almost 2 years with a team of hundreds of people to do all the visual effects.
Yeah.
So we're doing this in-house, even though it's a short film and a short commercial. We still have to get all the visual effects and everything we're adding into it completed before we can put it out, because we want this to be a great commercial, a great short film.
Exactly. On top, you know...
So it is coming.
It's coming. And on top, we have new equipment that was coming down. So I really enjoy the fact now that we're going to have an aerial view that before we didn't have. So we want to also add this little extra footage. It's going to be really much fun. And also, we have to finish with our friend Zach. I call him Thor. Zach from Boulder City is the friend of us that pretty much really looks like a Viking. The final scene of the shooting together for the Skadi commercial. That's going to be fun to do with the drone. Listen, I know you went to Alaska, and by the way, thank you for the fish. You got some great salmon that I really enjoyed a lot. Tell me a little bit about your experience, a little bit of your last trip in Alaska. What's going on there? Anything you notice about the weather? It looks the same they used to be, because there is a lot of things I've been listening around the world, especially in Europe. Weather seems like going a little crazy. I'm curious to know what's happening in Alaska.
My trip to Alaska, not only did I spend all my time out on the boat fishing, I also got some additional footage for Skadi, the commercial, and the short film while I was up there. And Now, you want to talk about weather. The weather's been crazy. I mean, it's been crazy here in Arizona. It's crazy up in Alaska. The last few years up in Alaska, the winters have been really warm.
Yeah.
For some reason, and of course it's been colder here in Arizona, it's been colder in Florida than it was in Alaska for probably the last 4 years. They actually finally got a decent winter. Temperatures while I was up there in July were hovering right about 68 degrees. Wow. So it was jeans and t-shirt weather the whole time I was up there. A little bit of rain, but you know what? Summer in Alaska, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. I've never been there. One day I'd like to go visit it, seriously. It's kind of really the last frontier. Now, beside video and, of course, multimedia in sense of video and editing, one thing also I enjoy that we've been doing together as an experience for the first time was the photo session with Hannah, our models from Havasu City. That we did feature the rifle Don't Tread on Us and, of course, Skadi. Now, that's something that I really enjoy that we can do now. We will do also now with 360 Media Productions. Am I right or wrong?
You are absolutely right. And, one of the biggest things that brought me on, I don't specialize in photography. I do take good photos. I can edit them out and make them look absolutely stunning. I've done a lot of landscape photos that have won awards. And, looking at this and talking about this, one thing I've never had at any of my multiple weddings is a photographer. I could never afford a photographer to come to my wedding when they start out at almost $2,000 just to come take a few photos.
Wow.
I want us to offer a small package so, when you have that wedding, you can afford to have a photographer come out.
Yes. And, it's funny.
Models for headshots. They need reasonably priced photos.
Yes, and quality. This is exactly the same type of philosophy I have with Zanna Enterprises when it comes down to firearms. I want to offer quality firearms, quality uppers, that they're affordable, and at the same time, they're quality. I mean, the point is, people say, oh my gosh, your uppers, they're so affordable. They always call it cheap, Guess what? The idea is to get something that every American, law-abiding worker American can afford. Like they Don't Tread on Us. I don't want to get you a rifle only at Christmas after 2 years of payments. I want you can buy a rifle like you can buy, I don't know, a little bit of something that you need for your daily life. So they say my philosophy also for your photos or your videos or even your drones. Talking about drones, you said pretty much the different type of applications. Can be businesses, can be also even just entertainment. Let's say you have a party. I was thinking about, I'm going to throw a big party on my property. It would be fun to see, all my guests at the party coming, being recorded with a drone. Think about that. That would be a great, let's say, I don't know what type of party. It could be a wedding party. It could be any type of party, even just to have a recording from a different view angle. Did you ever thought about that?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to cover not only the commercial side of things, we're going to cover the private individuals. I mean, I think about it. If you got all your family to come from Italy for a family reunion, would you not want a decent aerial photo, the camera up maybe 40, 50 feet in the air and taking a nice group photo of your entire family for everyone to have?
Yeah, this is very nice. I'm excited.
Memory.
I'm excited. This
Absolutely. So.
Very good, Charles. Listen, Charles, we got to prepare because we're going to prepare to go to the range in a little bit here. So I'll see you pretty soon. Meanwhile, I want to thank you again and looking forward to work together. And say one more time the website where people can find out more what we do. And I say what we, yes, because people say, oh, look, you're always doing something. Exactly, this is the way I pay my bills, guys. Let me tell you something. I came to America in 1998. And since the moment I was able to work here in this country, I never had a paycheck from anybody. I don't think I had a paycheck from anybody in my life. I worked for a paycheck probably when I was 16 for a time, very short time. But my point, this is exactly the spirit of free market. We try to offer you the best product for the best price And in exchange, hopefully, we get some of your money that, differently from the government, we do not extort them. We give you something back. And I'm very proud that's what I do for a living. I try always to find new ideas because, you know what, as I said, money is not the goal, but money is a part of how you can get freedom and you can defend yourself from assholes. That's the idea. We were talking before about lawyers before. You need always a lawyer, unfortunately, in this life. Right, Charles?
Oh, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I wish it wasn't true, but that's why we enjoy doing this. Listen, Charles, I'll see you soon. Now we have the last final segment with Love, Guns, and Freedom, the second hour. Don't go away. And Charles, anything you want to say? Sometime I always give you the chance to the guest to finalize 60 seconds. Whatever you want to say, you close.
Oh, absolutely. Once again, 360 mediaproductions.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter, and you can contact us directly through the website, and we'll be happy to meet with you, give you a price, and help you create your ideas.
Very good. All right. Talk to you soon, Charles, okay? Don't go away. See you soon.
Okay, see you soon.
Bye-bye. That was Charles Black. Don't go away. I may have another phone call guest very soon. Stay here. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna.
In this world where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on 104.1 FM. Okay, this is the final segment of the second hour, the hour about guns. But as you can hear, we can talk just about guns. A lot of things between training, information, opportunities, and rights. Now, a great opportunity that is coming down exactly in September the 2nd and September the 3rd, Saturday and Sunday in Havasu. A great concealed carry permit class that I will teach, not just by myself, but with a great guy that I had the opportunity to meet. And as I said, normally I don't collaborate with people, but when I find somebody that works hard and he enjoys doing what he does, for me it's like I find almost a brother, seriously. Because normally I've been telling you, I don't want to talk down about people, but my experience with other people when I try to collaborate, mostly they are just different from me. I don't even want to call them losers, but you know what? If I tell you I do something, I'll do it, and I don't drag my feet. And I found somebody like me that is called, his name is Patrick from Against All Enemies Gun Shop in Havasu. Patrick, are you there?
I'm doing good, Luca.
Very good, man. You know, I had a lot of fun. Just a few nights ago, I drove all the way down to Havasu. And after business hours, I know you were tired, you get up and open your shop at 7 o'clock in the morning and close at night 7. And I said, you know what, I had a little problem with my keys, on my car keys. And I said, let's do this little video to promote the CCW class coming. And you were pretty excited too. I mean, I said, wow, there's not even flinching. Many people say, no, I have to go home, I gotta go sleep, blah, blah, blah. You were great. Now, did you enjoy doing our little video there for promoting the class?
Yeah, I think it turned out great, and I'm excited to see all the attention it gets and how people are responding to it.
Yes, and by the way, let's put. I'm going to put them on the website, of course, ar15shop.us. But I want you put on your website, on your company website, so people can also come and see your site and also the classes. Are you going to be able to put it on your site so people can go ahead and give the website name, please.
The website address is www.aaeamerica.com.
Perfect.
And we're working on our training page where anybody who's interested in the Arizona CCW or any of the basic training classes that we'll be offering, they can simply go on the website, select what class, learn about it there, and then sign up from there, and we can get their name and all that information and have them ready to go on the roster. Yeah,
and let's remember this special. Not only we offer a great class, I mean, it's about probably 5 hours class, and you also offer free fingerprinting included. Normally it's a $15, $20 value, by the way. And for our class, Arizona Concealed Carry Permit class that we will held in September the 2nd and the 3rd at your shop, it is $85. That is a great price for the value, the information, but you get free fingerprinting included, $20 offer. Then if you bring a friend, and just say that is your friend, we're not going to ask you, we're not going to waterboard you to extort the truth, okay? Just say that is your friend. You get bought $20 off. That's pretty amazing, right there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's also, we said always, I always do that. We have limited seats for eventually single mothers who are really in maybe economic needs. And we're not going to disclaim, oh, by the way, we have a single mother here that she's broke. No, we're going to keep it very private, very professional. You talk to me or talk to you, Patrick, and we'll evaluate and we can give you a free class, okay? Now,
right. And one thing I do want to mention, too, so that everybody's aware is as far as Against All Enemies go, for anybody who is one of our students. So as long as you take either our CCW or any of our training classes, you will receive a 5% in-store discount to anything that we offer because, we'll keep track of everybody who's gone through our training.
Wow. That's very good. Very good. That's by the way, you got great stuff. Your shop, it's one of the probably most organized shops I've been visiting in Mohave County. Forget about Havasu. I mean, you got. I can see you.
I appreciate it.
No, seriously, I can see you were a Marine for a few years because you got the mindset. Even when it comes down to your shop, everything is exactly the place supposed to be. Nothing's by accident.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Absolutely not.
I never asked you really much about your service. Give me a little bit, because I like always to talk about, we work together, we're going to do classes together, and what I like, we have different backgrounds, where we will bring more than just the typical information that normally people will receive, hopefully. I mean, I don't know about other classes, but in our class, we give you the information that the state requires to be a law-abiding gun owners who can carry a gun. We also have our own humanity. I got my own background from Italy. I can give you things from my point of view, and you got, of course, your background as American man, young man that also you served for, I think, 9 years, right, in the Marine Corps?
Yes, 9 years.
So that's, I believe it, it's really good because, of course, this is a CCW for civilians, okay? We're not trying to do a class to go to war. But at the same time, it's good to have your experience, your brain, when it comes down to firearms. First of all, briefly, tell me a little bit about, we have a few minutes only. In your 9 years experience with the Marine Corps, what was the most valuable lesson that you learned?
I definitely took a lot away from the time that I served. Valuable lessons. I mean, you definitely earn and get a lot of discipline instilled in you, and it's not always the same as what people think discipline is, but it has to do more with your inner self. And like you were talking about earlier, not dragging your feet, getting things done, making sure things are done correctly and by the regulations, and just pretty much just trying as hard as you can and not really giving up until you get what you want. So that was one of the biggest things that I took away from the Marine Corps. Of course, all the organizational skills or any kind of mentorship that I can provide for anybody that's around me now, I learned all that. But it's all the work that I did on myself in those 9 years, and it's really, really paid off since I've been out of the Marine Corps and living in Havasu and started the business.
Yeah, I see you. I see, and that's why I like, working with you. I must tell you. Normally, I'm very picky when I collaborate with people because you're really serious. You're very hardworking. I mean, you understand that when we work for ourselves like we do, there is nobody really picking up pieces. If you break, you break.
Right.
So we got to do everything we can in our best, and I like that. You're serious, and I like that. Sometimes I tell you, you work even too much. But I know I work too much too, so that's fine. But hey, we work till we can. That's
like they say. It's not work if you love what you're doing. I get to wake up and pretty much do what I want to do, and as long as I take care of the guys that are working for me, which are outstanding, by the way. They work their ass off, and they really put out, and they kind of see the vision along with me as far as where I want to take the company and what kind of reputation I want to have.
Exactly. And this is exactly also, in this CCW class, it's the same. It is not even about work. It's the satisfaction to have a law-abiding man or woman finally, empower to knowing the basic laws and also the safety, and also try to understand how to be proficient with a firearm. Of course, you can get all this just in 4 hours, 5 hours, but it's a journey that at least started it. And it will have an asset. We can transform regular citizens in assets to defend our communities, to defend our families. And, when you have a stronger community with more law-abiding people with guns, we have safer communities. And at the long distance, I always say, of course, this is just a CCW class, but guess what? More law-abiding people with guns and more freedom will be in our country. That's a fact. What do you think about that? Am I too extreme?
No, I think you're right on the money, Luca, and that's one of the things I like about you, is that you're not afraid to voice your opinion, and you have a strong, very strong patriotism within you, and, it's more than I can say about a lot of people that I know, and it's very commendable. And I already got a lot of people telling me that there's definitely something different about you, man. You're very original, and you're very genuine.
Thank you. It's funny, because when I came to America in 1998, my first job I wanted to apply for, I wanted to join the Marine. But I was too old, and they told me, no, you can't do that. No, seriously, I was already 30. So I went to the Army department next door. And then I learned something about Private Michael New, and I say, you know what, maybe my mission is another one, but I have always that sense of respect, because World War II, as I said, my country, what used to be my country, Italy, now, of course, I don't have anymore. I renounced to my citizenship, Italian citizenship. But anyway, I wanted to almost pay back for as a service in the military. But anyway, that's another story. We'll talk next time. Listen, thank you very much, and be good, and I'll see you next week, okay, Patrick?
All right, Luca. Hey, I appreciate it. It was good talking to you.
All right, man. This is Patrick from Against All Enemies. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Do not go away. And remember, CCW class in Havasu at Against All Enemies, September the 2nd and the 3rd. Don't go away. Ready for hour number 3.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order John luca-zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by John luca-zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. And don't forget also on lovegunsfreedom.com. This is the final hour, the hour about love. Now, what's going on here? I realize really that this hour, every second of this show, it's for me very important. Because I don't want to waste time with fluffering or talking about things that really make no sense. It's like an opportunity. As I said, the only reason really why I'm on the air and I dedicate this time that I could use for many other things is, I don't really have the ambition to be the radio guy. And also, I suck, seriously. The only reason why, because this is my opportunity to, let's say, add a megaphone. I don't care how big or small, at least I have some sort of an opportunity to reach more than 2 people. Normally, I talk to me and my cat. Now I can talk also to you and let you know about things that they are really important. And this is not about just politics or taxation. That is bad enough. This is about death or life. As I told you many times, there is a plan. There is a global plan to completely, let's say, threat humanity and life, not just us as free human beings, but also our lives are really at peril. People say, you must be crazy, you're kind of extreme. I don't care. The facts are out there. The evidence is out there. Now, everybody who's trying to warn the others about really important things and dangers, like, for example, vaccinations, the danger of vaccines. And there is so much now. There is a movement. Thank God they are waking up. We are waking up. But still, in the last year, it has been like an epidemic, okay? I don't know exactly the exact number. We'll find out now with my guest from New Zealand. But we had so many naturopath and, let's say, alternative medicine doctors and activists also would really have been exposing the danger of vaccines, and also a very dangerous connection, alleged connections between vaccine and cancer. And they've been found, all of them, dead in a very strange circumstances. Some of them, they've been declared completely murdered, even by the police. And they just, last few days, more and more. This is a global conspiracy. And now then, when you start to look really the final motive, why they're doing that, why you think really, let's say, these potential hidden forces, they're not so hidden anymore. I mean, look at Bill Gates going on video at a public event, mentioning vaccine like one of the system, one of the tools they will use, the elite will use to reduce the population. That's the goal. Yes, of course, the local doctor will make an extra buck. And we know now, I have the documents in front of me that they've been found that all these pediatricians, they make an average of $400 for each new patient that in the first 2 years of life, you know, the little baby, since the moment is born, it takes at least 25, 30 vaccines. And he gets paid back about $400. Think about it. The average pediatrician in the USA has at least 1,500 patients. That's a lot of money. Now you may start to understand maybe when you jump or when you go into the pediatrician office, it's like going to a car sale lot. You know, they start to push a sale after sale. There is no stop. I mean, they want to try to sell a vaccine for hepatitis B, hepatitis C, like something normally you take only with sexually transmitted diseases, and tell me how a 1 week old, even 1 day old, can get that type of disease. He's going to have sex with somebody? I mean, this is insane. And of course, they try to push vaccine also for father and mother. So there are different layers. You know, the useful idiots out there, the first layer of idiots, normally the nurses, and not every nurse is an idiot, don't get me wrong. But they're pretty brainwashed, that's for sure. That's how they get paid, by the way. They really think that they're doing the right thing. And they look at you very wrong if you do not vaccine, you know, your child immediately, not even a few seconds is breathing, bang. I mean, if I give that type of vaccination, a type of mercury, a type of all these chemicals to a freaking horse would be bad enough. To a baby, few pounds, just few hours born, it's a crime, in my opinion. So you got the nurses, the first layer. And then you have, of course, the doctors, the pediatricians, that probably some of them, they really believe that something's good. But let me tell you, I really start to understand, unfortunately, it's a big money machine for them too. Then, of course, the final layer, that they don't care about money because they make money out of thin air. Who is behind? The people that really think they are playing gods and they decide who lives, who dies on this planet. That's their plan, the population. So this is the situation. So now I have with me a very smart lady, and I tell you, I like to be surrounded by people like her because it doesn't make me feel so lonely in this world. Sometimes you go around, they look at you like you're crazy. And I don't care, honestly. I don't care what they think. All I know that I know what is true. I have facts and evidence, and people are free to whatever they want. If they want to smoke vaccine, if they want to, you know, I don't know, speed vaccine, do whatever they want. It's their right to be stupid. I don't care. I feel sorry for their kids. But I'm trying, as I said, this is the purpose of the show, to bring you facts and evidence. At least make you think. And more important, think with your brain. Don't believe me. Don't believe anybody. I'm not giving you medical advice, so don't get too jacked up out there if you think I'm trying to break some FDA rules. The FDA can go screw themselves, seriously. I don't trust the FDA. I would trust much more the mafia. At least I know where they stand. The FDA, it's like the hitman, in my opinion, for the big pharma. Simple as that. But still, I play their rules. I'm not giving you medical advice. I just tell you, use your brain. Don't even trust me. Okay, Tavia from New Zealand, beautiful New Zealand. Are you there?
I am.
All right, sorry for my little rant, but I get really mad about all this because it's getting more and more dangerous, more and more serious, and people are more and more stupid to get along with that. What do you think?
I listened to your show and I was listening to you now, and I'm sitting in here just nodding my head like a crazy woman, agreeing with everything, and absolutely. And I think more and more, I think we are feeling that there's less time left to do something about this.
Yeah, I mean, this is very getting to a point that they're not even hiding anymore. I mean, let's talk about the latest suspicious death of these doctors, of these naturopaths, these people that really been involved in trying to expose vaccines, the dangers of vaccines, and they're all dead like by really strange circumstances. Can you give us some more details of what you really can, what are the latest news about it?
Well, really, the latest news is exactly the same as the original news, and I have been having a little bit of a look in it because obviously I've been following along, and censorship is ripe because you can look for this all you like. About the only link you're going to find is the article that Erin Elizabeth did. She's undoubtedly the lead investigator in this. She's very, very close and very passionate about it because a lot of them were her friends. And apart from her, there's very little coverage at all. There's little local articles about the death possibly, but there is no mainstream media articles linking them at all at any time. And her work, the article that she did on the 12th of March 2016, when over 60 had died on her list, that's pretty much the only article that everything links back to. So there's very, very little out there. She's up to around about 77, but how many were before that? How many total? How many of those were genuine accidents or suicides? And it's really a difficult number. But when you've got beautiful, healthy, happy, beautiful people just being slaughtered in most horrible circumstances. And so, yeah, what the latest one was a really lovely husband and wife couple that happened to end up disappearing over a balcony and leaving their children behind in the room. Earlier, there's been a lot this year, and some people are linking it with Vaxxed. So we've got Vaxxed out there very progressively doing tours. We've got them in New Zealand, and they've just finished Australia, touring around the States. And some people are saying that as that the media presence, as the presence of Vaxxed is heating up, there's just more and more and more doctors going, and not even those that are anti-vaccine.
Yeah, let me ask you something. I mean,
anybody that's not prescribing pharmaceuticals is considered anti-pharma, anti-science, anti-vax. So it's even osteopaths, hypnotherapists, anybody that's not prescribing or linked in with big pharma is considered a terrorist to them, and they're just disappearing.
Oh, this is serious because, let's not forget, first of all, the vaccine industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I mean, it's huge.
It is. And it doesn't matter how many times people want to try and debunk that. Yeah. It is massive. And when you look at it, they spend an incredibly small amount of money on research and safety testing. They spend a massive amount of their profits on marketing.
Exactly. And now we know that how you really can get good business, and I'm being sarcastic here, it's like the mafia, okay? You create, let's say, a coerced market, a monopoly. And how do you do that? You don't need to go out and break legs or break elbows or break arms or kill people. All you have to do is pay off politicians, and they make it a law. So now you have countries like Italy, for example, or states like California, where the vaccination becomes mandatory. Think how many more millions of customers, forced customers, you have. Right there.
They don't have a choice because the systems they put in place to work against us, we've turned them around. Like you said, in the real world, some of us are incredibly lonely and incredibly isolated. We wade through entire days of insults and abuse and being divided. But on social media, we're a really powerful, loud voice, and we are the people that care enough to put ourselves out there, never be paid for this. It costs most of us everything, and our health even, to do this. And so we've turned social media against them. We're using it widely, and even in New Zealand, really I dedicated days this week to anti-vaccination posts on mainstream media because they're making measles seem like the worst epidemic and it's going to kill everybody again.
Yeah, no, the fear factor is very important. I mean, they need to put, I saw that, indirectly I have friends that go to the pediatrician and there is the fear factor if you don't vaccine your child. Oh, your child may die. Your child, you may
will,
have...
but there's just as many people waking up and not being blackmailed into it. And so without amping up the media presence and the fear and making it mandatory, they're losing customers. So it's like a final desperate gasp for air to make as much as they can, kill as many as they can. And I'm not sure if this has been said before. I haven't said it. But we all sort of know that really the number one on the list, with great respect, Jeff Bradstreet, really the most outspoken anti-vaccine doctor, and he was also outspoken about the possibility of Nagalase. Not sure if you've discussed that on your show, but being introduced unlisted in vaccines into children.
Yes. I heard about that.
Yeah.
I didn't talk in details, but the point that there is also this connection between the vaccination and the lowering of the immune system and the connection with cancer. That's a very scary thing.
What my thinking is we know, right from the beginning, when you look into the history of the pharmaceutical industry, or the history of the vaccination industry, it really is based on a great deal of fraud and deceit. And none of that's hidden, and you mentioned that in your introduction. Absolutely none of this is hidden. They're laughing in our faces. The chemicals are blatant. But I was having a little bit of a thought that the vaccines target a certain percentage of the population dramatically, and that's 30 to 50% of the population that have a bit of a deformity in their DNA with the methylation, the MTHFR part of the DNA strand. And I just wondered, with the vaccinations hammering them so hard, and they're a population that is more prone to disease overall, are they trying to depopulate 30 to 50% of the population that are considered weak because they have this particular DNA difference to the rest of us?
Mm-hmm. Well, there is for sure, I don't know the details, but for sure now, another thing they're trying to pull, every time the child is born, especially in Arizona, I know that for sure, the state try to push for a database. Of course, they still need to ask you your consent, but they make it look like you have to do it, to get part of the DNA of your newborn child, and then they keep it in the database, and they do study, and let's say, they say that they try to use this to prevent very dangerous diseases. That's something I really don't buy. The state owning and capturing the DNA of a new man or new woman, and that's something, when you start to have the connection, DNA, vaccines, that is becoming mandatory everywhere, they can pretty much create bioweapons just for specific DNA groups. That's a fact.
That whole DNA capturing is fascinating as well, and it was very recently, last year, the year before, that they did a 50-state wide road block with collected DNA en masse and paying people $10 a pop to do it.
Yeah.
It was mainstream media as well, because it was like 24 hours of collecting DNA.
No, this is very serious. And as I said,
you can only worry about things like that because it's insane.
I'm trying to find out solution, Tavia, because the point is the time is running short, and every day that passes, more people are dying. And I'm not just talking about the thousands of people who would really get the side effect of vaccines. I mean, I had on my show just 2 weeks ago a father from Kingman, Arizona, young man, his first child born, died just a few days after he got his vaccine.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't sure enough, poor man, I feel sorry for him, he gave the vaccine to his daughter. And she got side effects. She didn't die. Finally he got it, and he became an activist. At least he understood all the details. And he understands that the connection there was between that and vaccines. But the point is now, in my humble opinion, what we have to do, we need to really try to say, listen, if people want to be stupid, it's their right to be stupid. I'm not here to try to convince anybody, okay? But at the same time, I feel sorry for the children out there who have no opportunity to defend themselves. Because if it was just an adult want to be arrogant prick, go ahead. Take 2 vaccines now and be happy. Snore vaccine if you want to. I don't care. But when it comes down to a child that has no opportunity to defend itself or herself, at least we should try to give the facts, the education out there. Because I believe, an average person, an average mother, she doesn't want to harm her child. Unless she's an arrogant prick, that's another story. But the average woman or man wants the best for his children. So I'm trying to put out the facts. I'm not trying to be right. I don't care. This is not about being right. But the situation now is getting very serious because, as you said, there is an awakening. And less customers are volunteering for this sort of, let's say, chamber gas without the chamber. It's just, it's a self-vaccination, and you really endanger your life. And I start to believe it's more than just autism. As that there are some doctors, for example, that they really proves that there is that connection between vaccine and the lowering of the immune system, and also the situation that could be connected to higher cancer rates. I mean, that's a very strong, let's say a strong statement. If we can really prove that the vaccines can be connected to this type of diseases, I don't care if they are by accident or by, let's say, design. That's a devastating situation. But we know for sure, and this is not an opinion, the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, by the U.S. government, admitted that there were, I don't know, many millions of tainted polio vaccines with, let's say, with the cancer virus. Did you ever heard about that? And that was directly on the CDC website.
And that's 98 million Americans were affected with that. It was SV40 or something. It was a cancer virus within the polio vaccine. And they openly admit that. But it just seems so ridiculous. It's even hard to put it into words, but to me it just seems so logical. You've got a newborn baby, their blood-brain barrier, their protection barrier to their brain is not developed. It's not fully developed until you're about 18, and we've seen fully grown men be paralyzed with the flu, whooping cough vaccines and various things. Anyway, you've got a newborn baby and you've got a syringe full of neurotoxins. They've been classified neurotoxins because they cross the blood-brain barrier and affect your neurons. They're toxic to your neurons. To me, that's 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There is it is a toxin to the brain, and you've got a syringe full of incredibly bizarrely MSG and aspartame and colours that are all known to affect the behaviour of children.
Yeah.
I see my daughter on MSG. She's mental. On red food colouring, she's insane. And it's in the injection. Why? It's not eaten or seen by a newborn, is it? Tasted? They're neurotoxins.
Yeah, no, this is unbelievable. And on top, let's just go with the basic, just the mercury levels that they are considered normally, if by the same EPA or government, whatever, would be dangerous. They just shut it down in your body so much more than the maximum allowed by the law. I mean, right there.
It's huge. It's tens of thousands of times more if it's compared to, say, drinking water. I think the mercury now is primarily just in the flu vaccine, but because everybody, in some mild way did actually think, oh, mercury, maybe that's not good. But now they're giving it to pregnant women and children, and it has mercury back in it. And some people seem to think that having aluminium is less edema than mercury, but it's just as bad because it's in such high levels on our planet now. It just seems so bizarre to me. And, whole days of debating pro-vaxxers, and they won't even look at the ingredients or even acknowledge they are toxic.
Exactly. And when people should also ask themselves, if any other, let's say, private business, okay, industry, would make a product, or let's say something you would eat, or a car, anything that is defective, you can sue them in court civilly.
Oh my goodness, like a car brand and one airbag goes off and somebody gets a bruised face.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the whole industry, they're basically almost going to go out of business. You get a research paper get released that says every single pediatric vaccine is contaminated with this huge range of nanoparticles and heavy metal particles.
Yes.
And it is not even looked at.
Exactly, and they have complete immunity by the government. So in case, let's say, they get brought to court, even if they lose, the government, us, the taxpayers, will pay for it. That's the scary thing, to show you how, I mean, there is no way you tell me a product, if it was really seriously good, would appeal to the type of shield. You know, this is considered corporatism, you know, it's fascism, the union between the government, corporations. And as I said, I really believe people say, oh, just to make $1. Yes, there is also economic gain, for sure. I mean, look, as I said, there is this article that shows how much now doctors are making in the U.S. Just when they somehow guarantee that the first 2 years of life of the child gets all the vaccine they're supposed to get. They make about $400 each patient. That's about...
Over and above that, they get bonuses for percentages of their clientele vaccinated, which is why now so many parents that go in and want to delay or refuse vaccines are refused medical care. They have to go and find another doctor.
Yeah.
Doctors will not treat unvaccinated, and it is not because they're sickly children that are going to spread disease in their clinic. It's because they miss out on their big kickbacks, which are huge for a percentage of their population vaccinated.
Exactly. And as I said, there are different layers of, you know, this is like a chess game, okay? The pawns out there, they really believe they are saving the children. And I tell you, I met several nurses. I had also one nurse on my Facebook page, and I was trying to be nice. You know, I was trying to bring her facts. And honestly, I don't care really what she thinks. I say, you know what, do whatever you want, but don't come on my page and start to call me names just because I don't like the evidence that I bring. But they're so full of themselves. They think really that they're some sort of like Joan d'Arc saving humanity, okay? And I had to block her and told her to go to hell, seriously, because I don't appreciate the type of, you know, especially when I bring facts and I try to be logic. I'm not trying to convince. I just say, look at facts. If she brings me back a YouTube with two stupid idiots, probably paid off comedians, okay, making fun about anti-vax. That was the big...
Oh, that's a despicable video. I know the one you mean.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the first layer of idiots. Then you have the doctors that I don't think they're idiots. They know what's going on. They can read also the inserts of side effects that you have on this vaccine. They can read the ingredients.
Most of them have never read them. They are told... They're taught what they're taught in an industry, and all the texts, required texts, everything that they must reference, everything is sponsored and paid for and provided by the pharmaceutical industry. It's just such a monopoly, and the indoctrination is just so complete. And
but you know what?
Very frustrating. It makes so much sense, but at the same time, you just want to wring their necks and wake them up, because... You also said, you know, the rest of the cancer and the mass disease, and specifically I'd refer to autoimmune diseases. If you inject foreign DNA into your body, your immune system will fight it till it's death. What do you expect will happen? It's, you know, and it's insect and dog and monkey and other people's DNA in our bodies. We know that. You can't do that. That's why people who get a foreign organ spend the rest of their life taking immunosuppressants. But yet a doctor can't even consider it a possibility. There's a complete lack of critical thinking. They're literally regurgitating what they're being told to regurgitate, and it's shocking and scary. I don't know.
At least this is exactly the point, you know. There is a point that I think we have to try to do our best because.
And what can we do, Luca?
Let me tell you.
You know, we're down here on the front lines, and you know, I know just so many lovely women who are out here on social media and on the street. We leave Vax cards everywhere, in every library book and every book in the publishers, and you know, we're out there, and it's one at a time. And we know 90% of mainstream media is owned by 6 companies. They're all related to Big Pharma. How do we spread the big message, or do we go, well, we already know the colour's on and some will die? And what's the best we can do? We've already proven we have to block these people. They're so aggressive.
But you know what I think, Tavia?
That's stamped in stone.
You know what I think, Tavia? I think that what we're doing somehow is effective because the fact that now they are resorting to force a law, creating laws to force vaccinating, that means that there is a trend, a reverse trend, that somehow is changing. People are waking up, okay? So that's what I really believe is happening. So now, my humble opinion, every one of us has much more power than they want to make us believe. The fact that even you out there, and sometimes it seems like, you know, we may feel alone, we may feel like some sort of down, because it's like fighting a huge monster, and we are just a little person trying to keep our lives together, at the same time using our spare time to try to warn others. Guess what? I really believe it's working. That's why I say, you know, I don't care if it's just maybe my little voice or your little voice, but we go out there and we keep doing it. And more important, when there is a new person that wakes up, we'll try to do the same. And at that point, we'll become down to a big reckoning day, because they know now that we know. And that's why it's going to be like almost a standoff, high noon, you know, like in the Western movies. Because now they will going to say, okay, now that you know, or you think you know what's going on, and you're not taking any more our garbage, we will force you to do that. And that's why I think it's going to be the next step. It's going to be called civil disobedience. Because I tell you, anybody who's tried to force a needle in another human being, that for me is called the worst force of coercion. You know, that's like people want to compare what? The gas chambers? That's for me as bad as the gas chambers. But at that point, we are bringing them to the point. And then, you know, as they say, you know, every country, every history, every generation will have to face some sort of, let's say, almost like a cycle. It's a cycle of freedom, it's a cycle of tyranny. And sometimes you need to go through tyranny to get back your freedom. I mean, 1776, it's a famous, you know, date here in America. But it wasn't, you know, it was created after.
Good coffee, too.
Yeah, then we'll talk about the coffee. And, you know, that's exactly the point. You know, we were forced to fight back for our freedom. You know, I believe that violence is not the answer, but there is a point that your enemy, your oppressor, will give you no other opportunity but defending yourself. So that's my point. So I hope we don't get that far, but I would like to find some solutions. First of all, in every country where people are allowed to carry guns and training, for example, United States, I see all these doctors, all these naturopaths, all these people that suspiciously died or they were killed. I am not saying that if they had a gun and they knew how to use it, they would be safe today. Probably not. I don't know. But let's put it this way. I think if they had a chance to be, first of all, aware, because right now, if I was any type of naturopath, even yourself, I mean, yourself, you just got your degree, right? I mean, remind me, because we talked last time when you just got your degree. You're now licensed as a naturopath. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, I am a qualified naturopath. I'm taking a little bit of time out for my family at the moment. It was a pretty hard haul getting that for myself with my situation. But
my point is exactly this.
It's very sad because these are all people I obviously look up to and respect and honour their work. And they're an incredible, group of people, some incredibly famous names on this list. Dr. Sebi, what happened there? That was just bizarre. Just some incredible names, very famous names. And was it Suzanne Summers' doctor? You know, there's no holds barred on how famous they are. So I'm quite concerned about some of our doctors, especially in the Florida area, and we've got Dr. McCullough and Erin Elizabeth there, and they're really the only ones doing justice this story.
Exactly. So I said, let's start to realize that we are under attack. Any one of us, you don't need to be a doctor, but for sure, doctors who are on the front line exposing vaccines, I would start to say the first weapon that you have is called awareness. I mean, you cannot live anymore in denial and thinking that, we are living in fantasy land. The dangers are real in general. I mean, I say that you don't even to be a doctor. I mean, evil is out there. There is an FBI statistics that every 100 people that you meet on the streets, one of them potentially is a serial killer. Or at least it would...
I think what we've got is as much as there's an epidemic of so many diseases and autoimmune and cancer and autism, one of the biggest epidemics is mental health. And, that comes along with, this eating bad food, the aluminium, the mercury, they're all, the MSG, the aspartame, literally just killing neurons every time it's consumed. The mental health is a huge, huge issue, and so many people are medicated.
Yeah, exactly. We're under attack.
They lose their empathy, and we've got fluoride in our water, and that was used in the Nazi camps to keep people placid, and it's been in high doses in our water for decades now all around the world, and the first thing that does is just make you numb and remove your empathy and remove your emotions and remove your caring.
Yeah, and that's why I really believe at this point we already have so many of the population completely passive, and they look at you like you're crazy and they don't care, because I really believe they've been already mass medicated. I mean, that's something
when you can tell somebody just a straight out piece of fact that's just not hidden, and it goes over the head, and they really just don't care and can't believe. The plan's just actually been quite immaculately rolled out, really, hasn't it? Just the indoctrination right from the time you went to school. And I understand. I vaccinated all my children. I honestly believe that there was no way I could know better than my doctor, who was completely trained in all of that stuff. How could I know better than them? I trusted them. How could they inject my babies with poison and look at themselves in the mirror? To me, there was no slim chance that another human would do that to my baby knowingly, and I fully trusted that. Obviously none of us have had a shot for a long time now, but
yeah,
I understand the viewpoint of just being indoctrinated and trusting, and I was that person, and I would have fought for vaccines, but I still was able, when the truth was presented to me, look at an insert and look at the ingredients and go, holy crap, you're injecting my baby with aluminium and mercury and things that cause cancer and things that cross their blood-brain barrier. And, it was just, the truth isn't hidden, but people are hiding from the truth now. I saw that in a meme somewhere, and yeah, today the truth isn't hidden. It's rubbed in our faces so blatantly, they must just be laughing, and people are hiding from the truth. Phones in their face, watching cat videos.
I understand, and this is exactly this point. We will be separated. Like almost there are two different types of human beings. The one that they surrender and they don't want to know it, and the one we try. And all that we can do, we keep trying, and at least we will try to at least warn the people who want to listen. That's all we can do. But as I said, I really believe we have more power than they want us somehow make us believe, because even one of us can influence so many people. In your lifetime, during your day, you can, let's say, like a virus, a good virus. The truth can be a very good virus, contagious virus. And at that point, you give them the chance to know the facts, or at least to investigate the facts, and they will do what they think is right. Now, let's talk about a little bit more fun stuff, because as I said, we got to fight every day. By the end, we got to take a break. Otherwise, we almost, we spend ourselves, we consume ourselves. This is a very heavy burden. Once you know some of this truth. And I'm not even talking about we know it all. We know maybe just a little part. It's like
look, we know so little because it's been systematically hidden from us. And you said, you know, our potential is greater than they'd have us believe. And I think that's the core to everything, to our entire history being erased. Here in New Zealand, our history of our Celtic people in New Zealand has been officially hidden until 2063. You know, like there's so much hidden. I think that you touched on the core of the issue, is that our potential has been hidden from us because we're not here to just be consumers and slaves. We are capable of so much, and, you know, to have our pineal gland calcified and our ability to just do so many things. I just think that's the core issue, is we are all so capable and so powerful, and that has been hidden and taken from us.
Let's talk about a little bit something, as I said, to just relax us a little bit. You know, first of all, I like when we find each other because at the end, you know, I understand that sometimes we feel a little lonely, but when we find each other, like we did, you know, even now you live in the middle of the ocean in New Zealand, I live here in the middle of the desert in Arizona. I feel connected with you, like I feel connected with like other like-minded people who are not afraid to, first of all, learn the truth and then to share the truth. And it's like almost I don't know, a brotherhood, a sisterhood. It's like a family, because I don't care if we are connected by blood or not. We understand that we are, let's say, almost like a family. Try to unite.
I consider us a tribe.
Yes, a tribe.
I feel like I found my tribe because I'm just one of these people, and millions say it. I never felt like I was meant to be here, and I never really felt like I belonged. I've never been a part of a clique of people, and I've always traveled alone. I rode a motorbike most of my life. I just felt quite alone, and I feel like I found my tribe, and they're a tribe of people that care about other people in a place where that's okay. Because for some reason in the real world, when you really care about other people, it's almost offensive to those that don't.
Exactly. So that's right there. It's a good, you know, it's almost like recharging your batteries when you don't need to.
I love it. I love my, you know, people think I'm bizarre, and my teenagers give me grief for my screen time. But to have the opportunity and the blessing to have a global view through the eyes of people that care about the planet is wonderful, really wonderful. I love it.
So I would say, as a cure in general for us to try to regenerate, it would be nice, first of all, to find each other, and that's why it's a good, almost therapy, in my opinion. You know, number one. So I say find a way that you can connect to each other. Number two.
Well, I'm going to give up fluoride and quantum leap. I'm coming over.
What?
I don't want to fly, and I don't want to go through your customs because I don't want that frisking. So, yeah, I'm just going to have to give up the fluoride and quantum my way to you.
Where are you going to? Are you coming to America?
No, I'm going to quantum leap.
Oh, quantum leap.
Through space and time.
Okay, I understand. Okay.
I'm too scared of the frisking from the TSA on the way in.
Yeah, okay, I understand. But at least that would be nice when they
I'm just joking. I'd love to see you, and people like you just keep my heart really warm.
At least maybe one day we'll find, you know, who knows, maybe I come to New Zealand. But the beautiful thing right now, we'll see each other every day on Facebook, and we share ideas, we share information. That's right there. It's a great gift, I really believe. And then, of course, you know, try to enjoy life a little bit, because after all, if we lose our humanity, if we lose our pleasure for life, we already lost. I mean, they want us miserable anyway, these bastards. So we gotta fight back.
They feed on the darkness, and yeah, it's. I think, and we see it a lot with our tribe and our community, that sometimes it gets tiring and a bit tough. But there's just that power in us, and we just got to keep doing it. And we're so supported. That's an amazing community of people. There's a lot of division, and I do try to stay right out of all of that. I don't care what shape the planet is. It's just in really bad shape. We need to help her out.
I wanted to ask you, how do you like the coffee? I know you got my Zanna Coffee in the mail. Tell me a little bit about the coffee experience.
Oh, what a treat. Thank you. It's, I don't know, what should I say? Coffee. I tried them systematically. So I started off with, is it your straight shot, your espresso? And it is beautiful. I had it in my coffee machine, and
good.
It's just thick and rich and creamy, and what a treat.
And that's
it's
the idea.
That's
not
the idea.
Bitter. You know, that's the idea, to have a little bit of fun, enjoy life, because otherwise, you know, it becomes everything pretty miserable. You know what I mean? And for me, coffee, you know, is more than just drinking something to keep you up. It's like a little bit of a, for the English people, I don't know, drinking tea, to stop everything, relaxing, enjoying life, just thinking about I'm alive, and I am enjoying this sort of a naturally chemical, let's say, boost that I'm getting to my brain, and I don't know, I feel happier. And of course, then I appreciate a different type of coffee. And also, I don't know, it's just to reconnect a little bit, to stop everything I'm doing. That's normally.
Oh, it's just a treat and a ritual and a reward, and we've seen it in cultures, particularly Italian cultures and things, and French cultures, and the research tends to suggest that if you are really happy, you can be really well.
That's true. Now, if you're happy, you know, also you can, let's say, fight back better. Because after all, you know, if you're depressed, you don't care about anything. You must somehow.
Well, if you look into it, everything's frequency and everything's connected, and you know, you could just have a bad thought and your stomach hurts and you feel like you need to go to the toilet and you want to cry, and every hair on your body is bristling. You can have somebody walk past and whoa, you have a bit of a connection, and boom, everything's just throbbing with light, you know. We know that everything's connected. So if you are, like you say, sit down and you just really take in the beauty of the day and how much you love everybody and
Tavia, talking about beauty, you know, you did such a beautiful photos on the very nice places on the close to the ocean. With displaying my Zanna Coffee.
Yes, I took my coffee to Piha to take some photos for you. I also took a fellow activist out to Piha as well, who's travelling around and came via Auckland. So we took your coffee with us. That
was beautiful. I mean, that's a nice, beautiful beach. You know, it reminds me of the time when I was in my early 20s, and I used to go surfing around the world, and that's the type of place normally I always envision.
That is one of our surf beaches there. It's hugely popular in summer. So our west coast, we have black sand beaches.
Yes.
And they're very wild and rough and rocky and dramatic and windy. Our east coast here is your golden sands and your more smooth seas. They're quite dramatically different and only 20 minutes apart. So your Piha and up that coast is fabulous for surfing. It's a beautiful place to be. And dangerous to swim.
Yeah, I know that probably there is a lot of wildlife too. I mean, talking about sharks and different other animals. I don't know exactly New Zealand, but I remember in the South Pacific, it's like you know, it's wild. That's the bottom line. And what is about right now the season? Because we have different seasons. You know, we have here in almost at the end of summer. We are in the middle of August. And exactly what type of season do you have right now in New Zealand?
Well, when you mentioned that in the introduction, I had a little bit of a giggle because I feel like we haven't had any seasons for 3 years. It has rained. It has just rained and rained and rained and rained. Everything is green. There's moss all over everything. It's ankle deep in water. It's still raining here. It's just raining and raining. But we're autumn, winter, into our winter now. Mm-hmm. But we've got daffodils and jonquils growing around the place that are typically a spring plant. Just ridiculous amounts of flooding. My daughter was meant to come home on a bus on Wednesday and ended up being flooded in where she was. So. Wow. Yeah, you know, the seasons are bizarre. People's vegetable gardens are all out of sync and out of whack. And to me, this year I have a lot of mandarins in my backyard. This year it was just so wet; they all just seemed to rot on the tree.
Well, I see also here has been very strange, not exactly following the seasons. And I really believe, of course, they are not even denying it now. You know, the former CIA director, Mr. Brennan, on video at the Council of Foreign Relations, he was pretty much blatantly say that, yes, global warming must be defeated with weather engineering. That means chemtrails. People used to laugh at us. Now they're telling us on video. And the fact that they are playing gods with the weather and the repercussions and what they're changing the weather, it's crazy. I mean, Europe, Italy is under a super heat. I mean, we're talking about weather, high temperatures never really happen like that. Here we have no water really like we used to have. I mean, even we live in Arizona, we used to have much more water, raining water. So they know what they're doing. This is not an accident, and it's always part of the same idea.
The thing is that they've created the problem, then they're going to give us the solution of the problem, which is going to kill us.
Exactly.
And it's what they've done with vaccines, and it's kind of what they've done with healthcare, and you know, it's just so blatant and ironic, and you know, I kind of find it a little bit amusing that we're just being idiots, really.
At least they know that after all, 50 years of fluoride is then, you know, public re-education camps called school systems, and the television, 8 hours of television a day with the average American, yes, it's been working fine.
It's worked fantastically.
Yeah.
But, you know, the weather now is so bad, and if we have a look over the last month, it's some of the most horrendous floods that we've seen around the world. Shock, snap floods, months worth of water in hours, and there were so many of them that, yeah, people will be screaming out for help, and they will accept the geoengineering plan because science is settled.
Exactly. So we do what we can. At the end of the day, as I said, we find another day, at night we rest, we try to enjoy life, we recharge.
Yeah.
And, you know,
with our elbows linked and huge smiles on our faces, and I firmly believe they want us miserable and, you know, dumbed down, and, you know, if we're going to enjoy a coffee in the morning with a massive smile,
yes,
communicating with our tribe, and enjoy the day, and you know how your energy, when you're smiling and you're vibrant, it affects everybody around you.
Exactly.
People in your vicinity will burst into a smile, and I think that is light is what defeats them, and that's what we're capable of, and that's what we've had hidden from us.
And also our friendship, you know, that's the bottom line. We need to fight back with a smile. That's all we say. You know, they want us miserable. Mm-hmm. We will be happy, but at the same time, we'll be firm. We will not comply. At least speak for myself. You know, I refuse. I don't care how many laws they will do one day. If they want to force on me or any innocent child a vaccine, I say I will refuse. I will not submit. And I hope, you know, of course, we're going to keep it civil and not violent. But at the same time, I always say it's a human right to defend your life, to defend the innocents, because at the end of the day, all these type of acts of violence against humanity, they're always going to be more bold when let's say, the population are completely disarmed. That's the bottom line. They know, governments know, and the people behind the governments, the elite who control the governments, they know, and the law-abiding people out there have the right to keep and bear arms and to defend themselves. They cannot get away with this crap. Because, you know, as I said, you know, you want to try to force a law that you need to break in my home and still kidnap my child and force them a vaccination. You're going to see 1776 on steroid here. That's what's going to happen. And I wish, you know, every other nation around the world, the people had the same type of right. Unfortunately, I know, you know, America, it's very unique into this. You know, as I said, I wish, you know, Canada, I wish New Zealand, Australia, England, all human beings around the world, they're supposed to have the right to defend themselves and their lives, you know, not just with a gun, with anything, you know, a government.
Everything that's happening just goes against our most basic fundamental human rights to freedom of choice, freedom of medical choice, freedom to education, you know, freedom for all of these things. It's just really interesting. I picked up a little brochure from the doctors the other day about my rights, and I thought, well, if they introduce mandatory vaccination, how many of my rights on this list would be you know, would be ruined, and basically got my highlighter, and it was almost the entire thing.
Wow.
So I don't understand how they can one day have there your list of rights, and then the next day none of that exists anymore. They can break every single one just because it's vaccinations.
Because it's honestly, they call it rights, but technically what they are not rights. They are privileges, let's say, granted by the government. Right?
The clean water is now a privilege, isn't it? Fresh air is now a privilege.
Yeah.
So having the right over your own body, to be autonomous over the choices that you make in your own body is now a privilege, and still we're trying to wake people up. So
yes.
Yeah, let's go tribe, one at a time.
I need to plug 1 second my book. That's the way I finance the operations here. That's the way I do not need to beg for sponsors, and I keep this show free with freedom of speech. Because when you go out and you start to talk about this type of topics, many sponsors say, no, this is too strong, that is too controversial, you got to calm down. Can't do that. So that's the way I support this operation. People can help me.
I think it doesn't matter who you are and what you are, and I've seen it from the time I was born. Nobody's ever going to be happy, and somebody's always going to find fault.
Oh, listen, I understand.
We could be glowing white light, and it's still not enough for somebody. So you be you, and I'll be me.
But here, even more.
We're not perfect.
When we talk about this, we talk about vaccines and big pharma. Trust me, or politics in general. Not being associated to any party, it's even tougher. So I say, if you want to support this show out there, I give you the simple recipe. Number one, you can go to www.zanna.us. With just 99 cents, you can download any of my songs. And once you download it, even just with that $1.99, you help these operations. Then I also appreciate it if you go on Amazon.com and you give me a review. In this way, more people can know about my music. I have more than 100 songs that I've wrote and published, and I self-publish them and sell them around the world. That's the way I don't need to beg for anybody's money. I sell my own music. That's number one.
And it's wonderful. The CDs are in my car, and they go round and round and round and round, and my kids are getting to know them word for word now. It's hilarious. We've got a bit of you here in New Zealand.
Wow. And then you tell me, what is your favorite song? Any special favorite you like?
I like all the Revolution ones, but Chemtrails is so catchy. It's actually quite funny hearing my kids all singing along Chemtrails throughout the day.
Oh, listen, if one day you do me a little short video about that, would be so fun. I would love that. That's give me the joy and the satisfaction for the job I've done in all these years. Now, number two.
I'll see if I can get my 11-year-old to do a bit of a song for you. She's especially talented.
Wow.
But he doesn't like people to know it too much.
That would be great. That would be great. But I would appreciate it. Anyway, people can go on Amazon.
You blow me away with all that you do. So absolutely everybody is Zanna Coffee too.
Oh, coffee. Let me give me.
It's just beautiful. Help us out.
Let me give 1 second the little push for the coffee. People can help you, especially in the U.S. I ship all over the world. Of course, in the U.S. it's better shipping. Go to www.zannacoffee.com, and pretty soon also will be on Amazon. I'm applying for the Amazon website store. So, and then the final thing I want to say, if you go on Amazon, beside the music and the coffee, I also have some ebooks. And the latest one is called Perfectly Crazy. 69 erotic poems, love visions by luca-zanna. So enjoy that and have fun. Now, we're almost at the end, believe it or not. I need to let you go, Tavia. I want to give you a hug, and I give you the last 30 seconds to close the show.
Oh, what do I say?
Whatever you want.
I love you. I love you, my rainbow tribe. Keep fighting. Keep united. Remember, we're all united consciously anyway. Keep shining your light, spreading the joy. Enjoy every day.
Very good. And I want to say thank you, Tavia, for your friendship and for everything you do, your time. Try to wake up the others and everybody out there in New Zealand that I really one day would like to meet you guys. I know that a lot of people, we are connected also on Facebook.